Well, hello there, YouTube. How the heck are you doing today? Sunday. Hope everyone has enjoyed their weekend. I'm going to wait for my watch page to turn on now. And automatically, we got a commercial. So I know I'm monetized. All right. How does everything sound out there in YouTube land? Can you guys hear me? All right, Rose Bellman here, Infinite Jack here. All right, they're giving me the thumbs up, so I guess that's good. PJC Net in the house. Cool Story Bro in the house. All right. Sounds good on my end. All right. So, I also have, of course, my partner in crime here, Shay.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
All right.
So, should we just get started?
Yeah, we'll just basically start jumping in. I haven't streamed over here in like a week and a half. I did a stream over on the backup channel about the recent Bang Bang Pow Pows. So basically, I'm sure people are thirsty for some new flat Earth information, and we do have some new information tonight. It's new to us. Hopefully, it's new to you. First, before we start, we got our first super chat donation by PJC Net. And he says, to get you started again. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. It's going to be a good stream. I have a good feeling about this one. Fingers crossed. All right. Javid Ben Cosme with a donation as well. Says, heads up, Jake. Sprouts is selling Wagyu beef now. I'm flipping my patty now. Really? How expensive is it? I'll have to try and pick some up. All right. Jonna X also here in the chat. Good to see everyone here. Welcome, Jake, Rusty, Beautiful Shay, Mod, subs, and guests. Indeed. Or as I like to say, welcome, Truth Warriors.
Welcome.
Welcome, Truth Warriors. We are live. All right. So today we were going to discuss Pearl Harbor, and how it ties into Flat Earth is Shay and also FPV Angel have stated that these are separate places on separate sides of the world. You can't just go across the Pacific Ocean and get to the east by heading west, and you can't get to the west by going across the Pacific Ocean, so heading east. So anyway, so a lot of people will bring up the attack on Pearl Harbor. That's a question we have gotten a lot of, and Shay did some deep diving into Pearl Harbor. And before we even start, let's just begin by calling it what it is. It's a supposed attack against America. And if you look into more recent supposed attacks against America, there's definitely some shenanigans. Like, do you remember that more recent attack against America when those supposed airplanes supposedly flew into them supposed buildings?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So when you look at that attack, whenever it involves attacking America, you have to take this instance with a grain of salt. And it's not just recent events. You go back to, 1940, we're going to be talking about basically a long time ago. The shenanigans were alive and well back then. So, Shay, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and set the scene for you here.
Yes.
All right. There you go.
So, we're just going to start with a quote here. The truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose and it will defend itself. So, let's show this clip.
All right. So, you want to start off with the video clip?
Yep, let's start off with this video clip.
Okay, gotcha. We're going to watch some official attack footage on Pearl Harbor. All right, guys? This is the official, real deal footage. Allegedly.
Pretty amazing.
All right. And it's in black and white, of course. Away we go.
Your commentator is Joe O'Brien. Here is the motion picture record released by the United States Navy of the havoc wrought by the Japs' sneak sky and sea raid on Pearl Harbor, America's mid-Pacific naval bastion. On December 7th, 1941, Japan, like its infamous Axis partners, struck first and declared war afterwards. Costly to our Navy was the loss of war vessels, airplanes, and equipment, but more costly to Japan was the effectiveness of its foul attack in immediately unifying America in its determination to fight and win the war thrust upon it, and to win the peace that will follow. The Japs copied their German masters in striking hard at airfields. Hickam Field, northwest of Honolulu, and the Ford Island Naval Plane Base were the first objectives of Japan's treachery. Scores of planes were bruised and battered by the Japs' aerial bombs. Many of these were demolished beyond repair. Direct hits were scored on hangars, and these were badly shattered. Equipment and airplanes.
There you go. I am Kiros. They had camos ready.
Grim and positive evidence of Jap treachery. Here, foul blows were struck, while Jap diplomats were talking peace in Washington. America lost 3 destroyers. Here are seen the United States destroyers Downs and Shaw as they rest on the bottom of Pearl Harbor with decks awash after Jap bombers make direct hits on their decks. First to feel the sting of Japanese steel are the USS Oklahoma and Utah, the latter a 33-year-old target ship. Accurate hits by the enemy bombers make short work of these 2 naval bulwarks. Now, with their keels practically out of water, they lie helpless wrecks and a sad reminder of cowardly strategy. To make possible a surprise attack within Pearl Harbor, the Japs built 2-man submarines to enable them to fire sneak blows within waters that are narrow and tortuous. Several of these surprise weapons were blown from the water by direct hits of our naval gunners. Others were beached and captured. While sky and sea fire was still raging, salvage crews inspected our naval craft to estimate what may be saved. Before the din of bursting bombs had been silenced, preparations were underway to salvage these 2 warships. At low tide, the huge propeller of the Oklahoma, stilled by the enemy, was high above water. It is believed that the small 2-man Jap submarines carrying dual torpedo tubes were responsible for these 2 losses to our Pacific fleet.
Yes, Agent.
Here is the actual bombing of the mighty USS Arizona by Jap planes. These pictures were made by a fearless cameraman who thought nothing of his personal safety to make possible this record for all posterity. A single lucky hit was responsible for the disaster that befell the Arizona when a Jap bomb falling directly through one of the battleship's funnels exploded in the engine room and set ablaze tons of fuel oil. Dense black smoke billowed to the sky as the massive control tower began to keel over. The Arizona's courageous crew stuck to its guns until the very end. Here was displayed heroism that will live forever in the glorious annals and traditions of the American Navy.
Heroes.
The once mighty Arizona now rests on...
Yeah, we can stop it now.
A pitiful relic of a...
And let's talk about this video, shall we? So what were cameras like back then? And they just happened to be standing at the perfect place to get this footage.
They said, they said that this brave individual, didn't care about their own life. So you basically have to think that some guy with an old school camera in 1940 is seeing the Japanese come in and attack the harbor, and he's like, "Oh, cool.
Wasn't like we had cell phones back then.
I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna get this picked up and put on TV, man. They're gonna think I'm such a hero."
Yeah.
Yeah. So even back then in 1940. 1941, this level cinematography and over dramatization by the media. It existed even way back then. You can hear by the music and the choice of words and the Japs they were calling them.
Yeah, the Japs.
Yeah. I like the choice of words. So the music was very dramatic and it had this like old black and white movie Hollywood cinematography feel to it, like an old war movie would. You know what I mean? So to me, the things that they do now on the news to deceive people, to get people to believe in hoax events, it's nothing new. They were doing this stuff a long time ago.
Yeah, I'd be running too if bombs were going off over my head. That's just ridiculous to think that they captured this footage. It's NASA all over again. So the mainstream narrative is Germany and Japan wanted to take over the world, so we had to go to war with them. And mainstream headlines read something like, on December 7th, 1941, the Japanese military launched a surprise attack on the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor. But there's also a mainstream conspiracy narrative, which was America provoked Japan, US waging economic warfare, and Japan was forced to attack Pearl Harbor. And then we had books come out like Day of Deceit that was written about Pearl Harbor, and it claims that Roosevelt knew about the attack on Pearl Harbor but didn't warn our military because he wanted to enter World War II. But none of it's the truth. Like, it's all, the conspiracy is a lie, and the mainstream narrative is also a lie, and by the exact same people. So to talk about World War II, let's get into World War I really quick. World War I is when the Lusitania was sunk, and it was a British passenger ship that had Americans on board, and it was sunk by Germany. But Germany sank it because it was carrying about 173 tons of war munitions for Britain. That's what provoked it. And at this time, during World War I, Winston Churchill was the head of British Admiralty, and Franklin Roosevelt was an American Assistant Naval Secretary. And in World War II, they were both heads of state. Americans didn't want to go to war again. I saw somebody make that comment. We didn't want to go to war again because they realized they were ripped off by World War I by the industrialists for billions of dollars for war materials that were never delivered. And the elite puppet masters, Shaylin smash thumbs up. Oh, and the elite puppet masters wanted to go to war again, and they needed a reason, and they needed a much bigger attack to justify it. So we've been deceived into going into every war to advance the New World Order agenda. The globalists, the Zionists, the Jesuits, whatever you want to call them, the Masons, like they're all in this together, right? And what was the motive behind these wars? Well, both wanted to create the New World Order government. World War I gave us the League of Nations. World War II gave us United Nations, which we still have. And what is the flat Earth map? The
UN logo.
UN logo. And world banking, World War I, funded by the newly created Federal Reserve, and World War II created the World Bank and IMF. And communism was birthed in World War I, and it was spread all over in World War II. And now we have Zionism with a 1917 Balfour Declaration, which set up the State of Israel, which was then created by World War II. So let's talk about the key players in this. And this is Japanese Admiral Isoroku, and I don't know if I'm
I got you right here.
Yamamoto. Okay. He conceived this whole Pearl Harbor attack, and Captain Minoru Genda planned it. Two things inspired Yamamoto's Pearl Harbor idea: a prophetic book and a historic attack. So let's talk about the book for a minute. It was called The Great Pacific War. It was written in 1925 by Hector Bywater, a British naval authority, and it was a realistic account of a clash between the United States and Japan that begins with Japanese destruction of the U.S. fleet and proceeds to a Japanese attack on Guam in the Philippines. And the whole point of this is like there's always predictive programming. There's always some book from the past that leads to what happens in the future.
And then point out real quick, because my favorite part about this Yamamoto is where he attended school for college.
Yeah, he studied at Harvard University. Exact same place Franklin Roosevelt studied. And in the mid 1920s, he spent several years as a naval attaché in Washington, D.C., where he learned fluent English and traveled to America, learning its customs and studying its business practices. It sounds like a friend.
You know what that reminds me of is Bin Laden, being in the United States in Washington, D.C., and all that stuff. So it's like you have like a guy who like visited the United States here, went to Harvard University, and then he happens to be the mastermind behind the attack. It's like, give me as RB Truth would say, give me an absolute break.
Yeah. So basically, there are controllers that are running all of the governments. They're in every single country behind the scenes. And they do have a motive to control all of the nations. And they're probably all related, and they're definitely Satan's children. So in 1941, Harold Ikes, who was a member of Skull and Bones, wrote a letter to Roosevelt. Oh, Javid with a super chat.
Oh, good eye.
You want to read it?
I saw you use the Carmex flat earth clip I showed you. Excuse me. Thanks for listening to the peeps in chat. Thanks, Jake. Some don't even look at chats.
I made that right after I watched it. So yes, thank you for pointing that out. You get all the credit for that video. Yeah, comments definitely inspire me to go make a video.
Oh yeah, we got a big truth or think tank going on here. So the comments, you never know what information you might find. People have brought several things to my attention that I was unaware of, or added detail to an existing subject I was talking about. So
yeah, we appreciate it so much. I'm just like Jake, I read every comment. So in 1941, Harold Ikes, who was a member of Skull and Bones, wrote a letter to Roosevelt saying the best entrance into war is through Japan, and that we needed to provoke Japan into attacking us. And they started holding cabinet meetings in autumn of 1941. Then the Secretary of War, Henry Stimson, who was also a member of the Skull and Bones, wrote in his diary how we were going to promote Japan through a diplomatic fencing, and we need to make sure Japan would be in the wrong and make the first bad move. So they created an 8-step plan to start this war. And so another important thing to know is at the time of the Pearl Harbor attack, none of the 3 aircraft carriers assigned to the harbor were in the port. 2 carriers were on missions to Wake and Midway Islands, and the third was in Washington for routine refit. And 10 days before the attack, they were warned about the attack. So 2 Japanese destroyers attacked the planes that were moved to Midway Island. Meanwhile, all the really important ships are gone. And the U.S. Navy's Pacific Fleet was moved there. And even the Senate suggested that the ships sunk at Pearl Harbor were decoys, and they knew prior to the attack it was about to happen. And the new most expensive aircraft carrier ships and destroyers were sent away from Pearl Harbor. So the ones that were sunk were mostly old relics from World War One. And then I found it really interesting that like the response to Pearl Harbor, and that was the Flying Tigers. Like, do any of you know about the Flying Tigers? They painted their planes to look like Chinese airplanes flying under the United States military control, and their mission was to bomb Japan. So we have these Chinese airplanes that are actually under military, American military control, bombing Japan. So why wouldn't we believe that they did the same thing to us with the Japanese airplanes? Like, how do we know they weren't fake Japanese airplanes?
And here we have on the screen, this is him. And as you can see, it says spent several years in the U.S., studied at Harvard University, naval attaché in Washington, D.C. Harvard, Washington, D.C., speaks fluent English. Like, come on, like this is a guy
probably
that
related to the Queen.
Like, oh, now I got all this information so I can lead this attack. Yeah, I like how there's instances like this, even later down the line. This kind of like I said, it's like similar to like Bin Laden coming over to the United States and hanging out where Washington, D.C., right?
Exactly. So the area of Pearl Harbor and Midway Atoll are restricted. People can't go there and people can't dive there. So obviously they're hiding some secrets. And the goal with all these wars was never to divide all the nations. It's to unite all the nations, United Nations, so they can control all the nations. And so every time these wars happen, we get these executive orders like 9/11. You guys are probably familiar with the Patriot Act, but also with Pearl Harbor, there were executive orders signed. And Roosevelt created the OWI, which is the Office of War Information, where he started controlling every single radio station, media, all the information. He hired somebody from CBS to run it, and everything was headed under the Bureau of Intelligence Psychological Warfare Branch. So the entire narrative about the war was all propaganda to create a hive mind mentality, so you guys would all believe these mainstream narratives.
Got a super chat coming in from Javid. Says the supposed hijackers with box cutters trained in a private airport near where I live in South Florida, Broward County, North Perry Airport. Yeah, see, there's a lot of parallels with that attack, supposed attack. So anytime, me and Shay were talking about this before we went live, anytime there's a supposed attack on America, you have to figure there's some shenanigans. Because if you look at how strong the American military is, and then with Canada to the north and Mexico to the south as our allies, natural barriers like oceans on both sides, it's not an easy country to attack in any sort of fashion. And then when you add the fact that all the major militaries are in on it together, pretending to be enemies, just so they can have these wars where the final outcome is putting the New World Order one step closer to global domination, or not global, excuse me, to world domination. Shouldn't use the global word. That's it's a bad word. Like a bad word in my book.
All right. So if you research the OWI, they did some really messed up things to the population. Like they created a radio show pretending to be under Nazi occupation. They created propaganda to demoralize the Japanese, and they basically admitted that they are lying to people to create psychological warfare that is even more powerful than actual weapons. So everyone that cooperated with their war narrative, they get promoted, and people that don't cooperate, they'll stay exactly where they are in life or get fired.
Good stuff, Shay. You came with a ton of information. When we practiced, you only like told me like a little bit of that stuff. So you just told me like some stuff like I'm like, damn, that's some good stuff, Shay. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
So guys, give Shay a hand for breaking down this deep dive into Pearl Harbor. You know, she took it upon herself to do this research, and she dug up some stuff that I was unaware of. You know, I'll admit I haven't went and combed over that subject, you know, and
Thank you.
searched all the evidence. So she came back with like, look at this, and this guy went to Harvard. Check this out. I was like, oh shit, we got it. On this next stream, you're totally going to present that. Well, and we can take a moment. I think I've got another super chat coming in from Javid. It says, Jake, you got global entry when you travel international. LOL. I don't get it. But thank you for the donation, buddy. So,
And I guess the most important thing that I want all of you guys to take away from this is even the conspiracies are information that is controlled. They play both sides of the fence. So
yes.
people like Alex Jones, David
Yes.
Icke, Eric Dubé, Rob Steva.
Just like that back then in the 40s, they have to have a couple different stories to control the narrative, to where if you don't buy the mainstream narrative, they have a conspiracy theory to sweep you under the rug. Here, let me pull up all the propaganda, and we could talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, so if you look up like Pearl Harbor, you're going to find all sorts of different documentaries and propaganda pieces.
Yeah, and the flat Earth information that they're using the same controlled information from 100 years ago with the exact same map. It's already, been there, done that.
So check it out. So Pearl Harbor, of course, you have the movie with Ben Affleck, of course. So you have a Hollywood
so that
production.
Makes it true.
And they're always going to glorify the United States side. Like you always see this in any movie that the United States is involved in a war. They typically will glorify our soldiers, and they'll make the any enemy who we were against the bad guys, of course. Javid Ben Cosme says, haha, that's something business people use when they travel so they can get through customs and immigration quick. In reference to him saying you shouldn't use the word global. He says, LOL, bad joke. Oh, that clears it up a little more. Yeah, I actually haven't done any international traveling, and I haven't been on a plane in a long time. And the last time I did fly was a short flight to Las Vegas, so I haven't done a long flight in a long time, and I haven't done an international flight ever. So only country I've been to is Mexico, so outside of the United States. So I really don't know all the customs and stuff that you have to go through, really. Anyway, let me get back on track. So if you look up Pearl Harbor, this is what you get. Is like lots of different mainstream narrative documentaries.
Tons.
And so this is like a similar thing. Like if we were to look up a September 11th, you're going to find a Hollywood redo of the plane going down. You're going to find documentaries which control the narrative. And then if they are going to talk about a conspiracy theory, it's always going to involve, of course, a plane hitting a building and stuff like that. So they always control both sides of the narrative. And it just shows that even back then, and even to this day, they still create Hollywood hit piece documentaries, basically, to gatekeep the narrative that these attacks are real.
Yes, they put out the conspiracies, and then people will pick up on them and share them on YouTube without even really digging into it.
So that leads us back, of course, to did you want to say anything
Can
more
we
about
just
that?
talk about the Elders of Zion real quick?
Yeah,
So
go
do
ahead.
you guys know who the Elders of Zion are? They are the ones that cause the division amongst the races, the religions, races, and classes. They use bribery and extortion and free Masonic lodges to attract politicians. They will sacrifice their own people when it's necessary, so creating wars. They are controlling our education system to spread deception and destroy intellect. Yes, the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. We're highlighting this to see where this is all coming from. They rewrite history to their benefit. They created the entertainment industries for distractions and to corrupt young minds with filth and perversion. Like, should we talk about Justin Bieber's face?
Hold on. Don't use the V word.
I won't.
If you talk about
No.
Bieber, don't use the V word causing anything.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And we got a super chat donation from Jonna X. Glad you're here, Jonna X. She says, great information and research.
They encourage people to spy on one another. They keep the masses in poverty and perpetual labor. They desire possession of all the true wealth, property, and gold to manipulate the market to cause a depression. And I want you guys to think about some of the truthers who promote like Bitcoin, $49.99 top-notch research. We appreciate. Oh, thank you, Christopher. So digital money is not the same as real gold. Like if you are investing in money that is pixelated, you really need to think about what you're doing. You should be buying gold and silver and assets, not putting your money in digital currency.
Speaking of currency, this one came in over on your channel, Shay. So that super chat is from Chris to you. It shows up here in my stream because we're both streaming to our to the channels. But
thank you.
That's going to your YouTube account. That one is from Chris Money to you for your research. So
thank you so much, Christopher. I appreciate that. So basically, they want to corrupt our governments so much that we will accept their king, and they'll give us someone from the lineage of David and force the world to bow down and worship him. Yeah, I wanted to get all that out. But let's talk about that flight, that crazy flight that you found.
Well, okay, so we'll transition this into flat Earth stuff. So people are like, okay, cool, Pearl Harbor, probably false flag, inside job, what have you. So how does that tie into the flat Earth?
Yeah.
Well, so Shay believes that Hawaii is in the west and Japan is in the east. And so it's like a mental barrier to make you think that they're right next to each other across the Pacific Ocean, and that Japan can just sneak up and attack Hawaii like that. And it's also, a way to put on a phony war and trick us all into believing that, we're enemies with a country when perhaps our military and that military are friends behind the scenes, like with everybody that we're supposedly enemies with. When you start looking at it as far as countries working together to accomplish the same goal, which is the New World Order, and then even beyond that to keep us barnyarded in to a section of the map. And so it is basically Shay's belief, FPV Angel's belief, and I'm finding more information that perhaps we are barnyarded into an area, and that is the main reason why they wrapped us into a globe, is because they want you to think no matter which direction you go, you're going to come right back to where you start.
Yeah.
And so that actually is the whole reason for the flat Earth deception, and wrapping the Earth into a globe could literally be to just keep you with a mental barrier, barnyarded into this rectangular portion. Only looking at these land masses, which they give you, in the maps, which they also give you. And then when they wheel out the AE map, the fake flat Earth map, that's there, of course, to gatekeep you, just in case you have this notion that the Earth is flat and not a spinning ball. They have a cast of characters to gatekeep you.
Yeah,
All
so
right?
you'll follow what they're doing. So you'll follow Eric Dubé into New Age, or follow Rob Skiba into his Kabbalah deception.
or Jaron into his baby truther bull crap, or David Weiss into his.
And I think their role is just to make it all look stupid.
Not just that, it's to completely control it. You know, like those guys are the controlled opposition for this topic, and there's not many truth warriors who are going to dedicate their time and energy to exposing this truth and see through the deception and expose the shills, deal with the backlash that's going to come with exposing the shills, and then continue to move forward with new information. You realize, Shay, that you're basically more brave than most men, basically like 99.99% of men, because there's not many men out there who are going to take their time and energy to call out the shills for their bullshit and then try and figure out new evidence, new information, and present it. So
people would like to accept an easy truth rather than to an easy lie than to look into the hard truth. And you know, the Flat Earth map does promote the United Nations flag, and they play a huge role in all of this.
So when we're looking at, we'll start with Google Maps just to get everyone back on the same page here. I'll bring it up. So when we're looking at Google Maps, we can see Alaska right here, Russia right here, and they say that as close as it gets, 52 miles between the two. So me and Shay are fascinated by this distance of what they say is Russia over here. And the fact that this is our enemy, right? Our pseudo enemy in the narrative, the mainstream narrative. And then we're right here, and it's just that close, and we're not really allowed to just go over there willy-nilly, right? So there's a lot of measures in place to keep us from going over there. So when I look into flights, I found an interesting flight. So if you go to Anchorage, Alaska, which is down here, Anchorage, Alaska to Petropavlovsk, Russia, over here. So let me get them both in the same frame.
Okay,
so basically right here, Petropavlovsk, Russia to Anchorage, Anchorage to Petropavlovsk, Russia, either or, there or returning. We were looking into flights. Okay. So when you look into how long that flight should take, they say that it only takes 2.5 hours on Travel Map. But if you actually try and look up a flight between those two places, you find something completely different. You definitely don't find a 2.5 hour flight. Javid here with a donation says, get the app. What you guys think of the Limitless channel and Awake Souls on Baby Truther show and the debate with them and Red's rhetoric on Non Sequitur? Limitless channel and Awake Souls are a couple of homo shills who basically muddy the waters and try and insert themselves. Whenever anyone starts debunking the AE map, these guys will get involved and say that they were the first ones to do it and they have the map that works. Well, let me tell you something. They aren't talking about the date line, and they have they have Alaska and Russia right next to each other. And they say if you go in one side of the map, that you come out the other side. They say if you go into the north, that you pop out in the south. So they say you go in this corner down here, you're going to pop out in this corner up here. So basically, they say that you morph and Pac-Man in and out of the map. And they have, I'm going to actually do a future debunk of their map soon, because these guys told a lot of lies about me. These guys went as far as to say that I hang out with the shills at the Baby Truther show, and that I'm friends with those shills, and that I know Kelsey Kerwin from the Baby Truther show, and that I've met Kelsey Kerwin. And so then after I exposed the Baby Truther show, bent them all over my knee and spanked them, Limitless Channel and Awake Souls went on the Baby Truther show and presented their stupid map and basically got kicked off that show. So they called me a shill and said that I hang out with shills. And then they went and hung out with the shills that they said I hung out with. So yeah, those two guys have a bunk map, and me and Shay will be taking apart that map in the future. Shay, it's a ridiculous map. I think I showed it to you once.
Yeah,
they have Antarctica split in half on both sides of the screen, and they say that you can walk in one side and pop out the other.
I was telling Jake earlier, I don't know what made me the saddest when I found out that everyone in Hollywood sold their souls to the devil, or when I found out that pretty much every truther that I followed and shared their information was a shill, because I pretty much every single one of them, and it was so sad. Total shill fest. Yes, Sunflower. And
All
hi,
right.
by the way.
So this is what I want to show you guys today. Anchorage, Alaska, right here. Petropavlovsk, Russia, over here on this peninsula that sticks out. And if you go to one website, it'll tell you that that's just a 2.5 hour flight. So then if you actually try and look up that flight, let me show you what you find. And this is something that makes Shay smile big, of course.
It was so funny.
When you see this flight. All right, there we go. So here it is on the screen. Let me go ahead and read it out for you, the itinerary. Anchorage, Alaska to Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky, Russia. So the plane departs from Anchorage International, and it goes 9.5 hours to Frankfurt Airport in France. So your very first leg goes east. It doesn't go the quick way. 9.5 hours goes to France. Once you're in France, there's an 1.5 hour layover, and then you take a 7-hour, 10-minute flight from France to Almaty International Airport, which is in Kazakhstan. And then there you're going to have an 8-hour, 55-minute layover. So a 9-hour layover in Kazakhstan. And then you're going to get on a 55-minute flight and fly from Kazakhstan to Manas International Airport, which I had to look up is in Kyrgyzstan, which I didn't know was a place. You're going to fly from Kazakhstan to Kyrgyzstan in an hour, and then you're going to hang out for 4.5 hours in a layover in Kyrgyzstan. Then you're going to get on a flight from Kyrgyzstan, 2 hours, 25 minutes to Novosibirsk, Russia. And then you're going to have a 5-hour and 10-minute layover. And then you're going to go on your final connecting flight from Novosibirsk to Petropavlovsk, 6 hours and 20 minutes. And that is your 46 hours of flight. All right, 46 hours. And it takes even longer to get back, which is hilarious. So there's your your flight, 4 stops. And this is, of course, on a distance that should only take you like 2.5 hours on the map, right? If you were just going to go the shortest route. So instead, they go 4 stops. All right, and then on the way back, let me show you how long it is. 93 hours and 50 minutes. So now you're going back 6 hours, 50 minutes from Petropavlovsk to Novosibirsk. 22-hour, 15-minute layover. So you're going to spend the night there. 22-hour layover. Novosibirsk to Moscow's 4.5 hours. And then you got to spend another 4-hour, 40-minute layover. Then you're going to go Moscow to Cairo. You're going to go Moscow to Egypt, 5.5 hour flight. Then you're going to have an 18.5 hour layover.
The center of the earth, by the way.
You're going to have an 18.5 hour layover there. So another night. And then from Cairo to France in 4.5 hours, 17-hour and 45-minute layover. France back to Anchorage, 9.5 hours. So they go the long way both ways, man. Isn't that interesting? So let me go ahead and show you what this would look like on an AE map. So let me stop that, and I'm going to show you what this would look like on the AE map. One sec.
Seems like pilots would know.
Here's the route on the AE map. Right? Not quite a line.
how, yeah, look at the
Not
beginning
quite.
and the end and make it make sense if that map is correct.
So here's the deal: is like Anchorage is right here, and Petropavlovsk is right here. So this is the short route, which Travel Math says this is 2.5 hours. So they're going 46 hours this way, and then 96 hours or whatever it was back this way, making you have so many layovers, so many stops. This is basically, let me tell you what this is like. This is like the equivalent of thinking, okay, I'm going to go to my neighbor's house over here to the left. And so I'm going to walk around the block to the right. I'm going to walk all the way around the block, to go to my next door neighbor's house, right? Would you walk around the block to go to your next door neighbor's house, Shay?
No, I would not.
And so I know people are going to say, well, not that many people want to go from Anchorage to Petropavlovsk, so they went all the way around and picked up all those people. It's a stretch for me, man.
Yeah.
That's like when you look at it, like, because AE mappers always love to show off their flight routes, how they're like, they're straight lines, and on a globe it doesn't match up, but then it's a straight line on the AE map. Well, when you look at this one, it's definitely not a straight line. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's your big long flight from Anchorage to Petropavlovsk.
So can we show them the map, this one with the sizes?
Yeah. Good idea, Shay. We'll get to that. But first, we have a beginner question.
Oh, you know what? I think you missed some super chats. Can you?
Did I? Okay, yeah. I sometimes miss super chats, and then we'll get to this guy's beginner question here.
What's on the other side?
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. I hate when I miss super chats.
Yes.
All right. Javid says lots of stands. I don't know what he's
lots of stops. He meant go up a little bit more. There's another one from him.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. Thought they were on your side since they are non-AE mappers.
That was talking about the guys. He said we should go on their shows earlier.
Oh, yeah. Awake Souls and Limitless channel say that they're basically sent by God. They're God's chosen ones, and they called me a shill. They said I'm a devil worshiping Satanist shill. They told their audience that I hang out with the Baby Truther Show crew and that I've met Kelsey Kerwin. And they even went as far as to watch a video of me hanging out with this girl who's not Kelsey. And they told their audience it was Kelsey. So I was hanging out with this 19-year-old girl years ago, and they're like, look, that's Kelsey Kerwin. It's like, no, it's not. And then they made some fake Craigslist ads saying that I had a BMW for sale and a PS5 for sale for cheap. And when I called them out on it, then suddenly all the calls stopped miraculously. So basically, they're not only shills, but they're shitbags, and they're liars, and they're scumbags. And they're going to get what's coming to them soon. But mainly, nobody knows who they are, and no one talks about them because no one watches their shit. They have to like pay for YouTube boosts just to get 1,000 views. And you know that they're paying for boosts because there's 2 comments. So they usually get 2 comments on a video. That's how you know no one watches them. So yeah, if you want to listen to some guys who have a wrong map, who call me a Satanist and a shill, and who went and hung out on the Baby Truther Show with their tard map, that's those guys. All right, let's get back to that. Thanks, Javid, for the donations. I'll clear it all up.
Another one.
I'll clear it all up for you in the future when I do a debunk, and I'll have Shay help me out with it because their map is ridiculous and the things they say are ridiculous. So it'll be really easy to make those guys look foolish. I generally don't like to give them any attention because nobody really knows who they are.
Did you see Javid send another one? Okay.
He says the stands are reference to all the places you name with stands like, Kazakhstan. Not the Eminem song Stan. Another bad joke. Okay. I was actually starting to think Eminem stands. No, okay, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, all that stuff. Yeah. So basically, there's your route on the AE map, and we'll go ahead and discuss something that me and Shay were thinking, that like some of these flights, we think can happen maybe quicker than you might imagine, because a lot of the continents we think are misrepresented on the map. So we think that places, like Russia, for instance, is gigantic on a Mercator map, and Greenland is gigantic. And we think some of these countries might be overrepresented. And so we found this website. It was a mainstream site, but it did have an interesting article about how the continents and countries are misrepresented to create like a social dominance in your mind from one country over another, make one country look bigger and stronger and more dominant. So it's not too far of a stretch out of the imagination that perhaps when looking at these countries on a map, you have to take into consideration that maybe they aren't quite as big as you think they are. So you guys see what I have up on the screen here? I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this animation real quick. I'll make it a little bigger for us. So
because maps are also used in psychological warfare.
Yeah, it's psychological warfare, exactly. So if that's what the map looks like, Mercator, and me and Shay are thinking, okay, how can they fly from the West Coast and get maybe over to Japan like faster than usual? Like, this seems like such a long distance. Well, check it out. Maybe it's not so long. Oh, damn it. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. See there?
True sizes of the continents, so they say.
All right. So watch Russia shrink, watch Greenland shrink, watch Canada shrink. Look at all these islands up here in Canada, above Canada. Watch them all shrink. Right? So this one says Africa is the biggest. This one says Africa is definitely the biggest. And I don't think it's too far of a stretch out of the imagination that Russia for sure is overrepresented. Look how gigantic Russia is on a Mercator. And then us being overrepresented, Alaska, Canada, all these islands. So once you start shrinking stuff down, it basically shrinks your flights down and your travel times down as well. And it makes it, to me, in my head, more theoretically plausible that you can shoot from one side of the map to the other by catching a jet stream. You can shoot across in 8 hours, 9 hours from one side of the world to the other. And so I was wondering how some of these flights work. And once you start shrinking some of these areas down, or you just change the orientation of the countries and continents just a little bit, you can start seeing how perhaps it's a small world after all, or a smaller world. Let me show you guys this other map that has the continents orientated in a little different way than you would see on a regular Mercator map. And Shay actually sent me this like a couple weeks ago, so I've been meaning to show this map to you guys. It's interesting. I'm not going to say that this is the correct map for sure, or the most correct or anything. I just show it for research purposes. Could be more accurate, let's say, than what we're given. So something like this, you could shoot from Los Angeles, let's say, to Japan theoretically a lot quicker. Shooting up over the top of Alaska. See what I'm saying? So let's say you take off out of LA or San Francisco, come up over the top like this. Come down. See? And see, this one has Africa nice and big, and it shrinks down Russia a little more. Shrinks down some of the continents. And then, so if you looked at Hawaii out here, Hawaii out here, you could theoretically even catch a jet stream, shoot over the top, bam, catch Japan in 8-9 hours. See? So I'm trying to just figure, how some of these flights work, because there's some flights like that Petropavlovsk, to Anchorage to Petropavlovsk, either way. It's super long, tons of stops. But there are, for instance, Hawaii and Japan, you can find direct flights that say they can get there in 8 hours. So me and Shay were looking into like different jet stream possibilities and different orientations of maps and shortening some distances up north. And it's not too far of a stretch when you start looking at some of these other maps, you know, that you don't necessarily see that often. Or if you dial back the size of Russia, suddenly the mental barrier goes away, you know?
Can I read a comment real quick before it disappears?
Oh,
The
yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Shire 7, he says, there is a primary sun source, and then there's a projected secondary sun. That said, there are not two suns. And that's also what I believe. And like you can see, I'm using a ring light, and there's a reflection of the ring light. So if we have a dome and it's a reflective surface, that's what I think is happening as well.
When it comes to the sun, it's super confusing. And so right now, it's like we're trying to piece together the puzzle as best we can. And the sun is going to be one of the hardest things to figure out because we just don't really know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
What it's
But we
made out
don't
of,
think
how
there's
it
two
works.
suns.
Well, I think there could possibly be multiple suns, you know? That's what. So I try and
So
figure.
Jake's open to any
I'm open
possibility.
to lots
I'm a
of
little bit
different
more
possibilities.
closed-minded. Just
Shay really likes to have her model be the one that's going to shine through and be right with one sun and be more biblical Book of Enoch style. So I'm open to possibilities, but as far as travel goes, stuff that, you know, like that we can wrap our heads around a little more easily. I think just like, you know, tightening up some of these spaces up north makes a lot of these flights suddenly seem feasible. Oh, and then let's get back to that beginner question. A guy asked, what's on the other side of the flat earth? Who's to say there's another side of the flat earth? What if like there's ground below you and you can dig down there, but there is no other side to pop out of? So a thing that globers have a hard time with is they want to picture like a thing floating.
yeah, floating in the air.
Nothing in any flat earther's world floats in
That's not what we
space.
believe. We're not floating or spinning.
Even the AE mappers don't have their pizza pie map floating in outer space.
No.
That's just something that people who don't know about flat Earth think. So we don't have anyone on any side representing flat Earth saying that like there's this piece of land floating and that you can like dig and pop
Maybe
out.
The Flat Earth Society.
No, even they don't say. I think that like the stupidest thing I heard is that the Earth goes upward to account for gravity from the Flat Earth Society. That's one of the stupidest things I ever heard. Which again, I've never met an actual flat earther who believes that. So we all say, no matter what flat earther you talk to, that it's flat and stationary, that the Earth doesn't move, and that there is no other side. So you might be able to find like hollow areas of the Earth, underground caves, and the elites might have underground bunkers that are gigantic, and you know they might do a lot of nefarious stuff down there that they're able to keep away from us, to where you have to have special passes and clearances to make it down to their low levels. So it would behoove the elites to dig deep and then have prisons and cloning centers and all sorts of nefarious things happen underground, because they could make you go through a lot of different clearance in order to get in there. And they could also keep it a secret from the people up above a lot easier. So you definitely have to consider that they have dug down farther than they tell us. They tell us they've only dug down 8 miles and then they reached an impenetrable barrier. I even happen to think they might dig farther than that, and that might be a lie too. you know what I mean?
Did you ever see the video where people are like screaming, like they're hearing these screams and they stop digging? Have you ever heard that?
No.
Oh, it's so creepy. Oh, thank you, CJ, for the super chat.
Chris Chammings with a huge super chat, $50 super chat. I'm not sure if that was on my channel or on your channel.
I think it was on my
looks
channel.
Like it came through on yours.
Yay!
There you go. Shay getting 2 big super chats today. Hey, thanks, guys. she's been putting in a lot of time and effort, and she spent money on a laptop and on the setup and all this stuff. So
Getting
uh,
a new
she's
webcam so I wasn't pixelated.
she's definitely putting it to good use, and
Yes.
these donations help us, keep this research going. It's motivation, and it helps pay for all the little crap that we need to keep this stream going, and
We
bring it to you
appreciate it.
guys. And so we definitely do appreciate it, and thank you guys for that. And let me go ahead and show what did you want to show next, Shay?
I just want to talk about the jet stream really quick.
Is that your video?
So, yep. Well, it's not a video, but here is riding the jet stream where they actually talk about it, and they mention right here the record set for the Tokyo Honolulu route during the pre-jet era was made on a flight piloted by Captain John H. Kelly, who flew his plane Pan Am Strata Cruiser with a full load from Japan to Hawaii in only 9 hours and 18 minutes. So that's proof that you can fly twice as fast on the jet stream. And then we're going to look at an actual flight. Making me refresh.
We got Plane Walker sent us donation, says it's not much, but times are hard here. Hey, it's not the size of the donation that counts; it's the thought. And small donations add up too. So I appreciate them in all shapes and sizes. Whether you have something you need to say or whether you just want to send one. Sometimes people don't even have a message and they'll just send a super chat just to show their appreciation. And we definitely do appreciate it. And if that little bit is what you can't afford, then we appreciate that that's what you can't afford and that you chose to send it this way. And thank you very much, Plane Walker. And another one coming in from Javid says, Che Guevara. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either. But thank you so much, Jade. Thank you guys for the super chat.
Then he sent another one. He sent two of them that said Che Guevara.
Okay, I'll have to look it up. Tell us what does it mean?
What do you mean? What is the Guevara part?
So here's an example of a flight that doesn't take the jet stream and it stops in San Francisco. So if you're going from Hawaii to Japan, why would you go to San Francisco?
Whoa. Are you saying this flight goes from Hawaii to San Francisco and then goes to Japan?
Yes.
Show people on the map behind you real fast, real quick, like just show people.
So if it's going from here, and then to here, so it's going that way.
Yeah, show them like what they say that they're doing on the flight on the globe. See what I'm saying? Show them show them how. So
this way.
They're gonna go from Hawaii to San Francisco. Oh yeah, it's a little pixely, but they'll get it. So put your finger on Hawaii. So they're gonna go right there to San Francisco, and then they're gonna cut back across the ocean back to Japan. No.
Yeah. Like, are they gonna go here to here, back to there?
Yeah.
Is that what? Yeah.
That's what most people would think. If you're on a globe, or if you think they're flying across. So my thing is, that doesn't make sense. You would of course start in San Francisco, and then pit stop in Hawaii, pick up those people, and then go to Japan. Why would you have the people in Hawaii fly into California, and then from California head back over the same ocean back to Japan?
Yeah, why would you do that?
So Shay found this flight. Yeah, so that's very confusing that they would even have that flight up there. But it actually makes more sense that they would get to San Francisco and then take that route over the top.
Yeah.
So some of these routes, when you look it up, they don't all add up. They don't all make sense. And not only are they trying to keep that globe deception going with the flight data, the international date line is also an issue, to where they have to have the controlled AE mappers never really bring it up. So I find it fascinating how after all these years, you don't really hear the AE mappers ever bring up the dateline issues and these anomalies.
Yeah.
How
So
long before they start to recognize? Because I know if we keep this up, eventually the shills
you're
are
gonna
going to.
see it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they've kept quiet for as long as they have. I expected
I
like
am too.
I expected
I'm not-
RV Truth to be like, you guys, she's a fake flat earther. Okay, the Bible says that it's round with a dome over the top. He's wrong. Okay, I don't think he wants to come anywhere near it because he doesn't know jack shit about flat Earth really, and so I don't think he really wants to try and take us on at this point. Plus, I've already exposed his name and his face, so I don't mind doing that again. Javid says famous Che Guevara is Cuba dictator Fidel Castro executioner in Cuba, communist actors. You guys got same first name. Sorry, another bad joke. Ah,
Great, just great.
well, thanks for clearing it up, though, Javid.
Yeah.
Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the
Thank
bad
you.
joke. We'll put up with your bad jokes as long as you're donating, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically we have controllers, the globalist Zionists, whatever you want to call them, controlling both narratives, the truth, the fake truth, and the mainstream narratives. And a lot of conspiracies are being repeated without being researched. There's a couple of really well edited videos on the flat earth right now, and they use the fake map. So the flat earth is gaining popularity again, but what does it lead
It's
people
getting
to?
a resurgence. I noticed recently. They had a documentary released, The Next Level, produced
Yeah,
by
I think that's it.
the Hibbler Productions, but
Yes.
starring ODD and David
Okay,
Weiss.
okay. That's not the one I'm talking about then.
So
So it's one
the
of them.
recent documentary that they released, of course, is another AE Map Shill documentary, and there's definitely it looks like a bit of a resurgence, not quite like it was in 2015 and 16, where it was more of an explosion of flat Earth, but it's looking like more of a resurgence. But the good news is, Shay, people are more open to this topic now, like they were not open to in 2017. So enough time has went by that people have seen through the shilliness and shenanigans of the controlled opposition to where they're ready to listen to what we have to say and have open ears without being mad at us for shooting down the circle map. Whereas, like
Yeah.
when I first told people the circle map was wrong, there was such a strong backlash. So now that we've gotten through that and years have went by, and you've seen these shills,
And we both never
prove their
stopped,
shill.
even despite the backlash. Neither one of us ever stopped talking about it.
So now we have people more open-minded to the topic, and I think that we can actually have a breakthrough, and the topic can finally pick up some steam again. And I think these shills are going to fall by the wayside. The more popular we get this subject going, and if this turns out to be true, that it's more like a rectangle barnyard like we think it is, then that information is going to destroy the shills and their position and their maps. And it's going to destroy the globe and the concave at the same time. So I think in the future, the stronger case that you build, it's only going to strengthen your position, and the shills are going to be on the other side with a weakening position.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
Shills controlling us.
All right, Javid says ODD got fat in the movie. Yeah, see, ODD fell off the map, pun intended. Makes me wonder if he got into legal trouble or something, because he didn't do anything for like a year, and then he came back to do a live stream for like 4 or 5 weeks with Dave Weiss and Hibbler, and then that just ended. And so last I checked his channel, he hasn't posted anything or done jack shit. And another thing, he never does anything like this, never goes live and has just like a regular stream where he talks to his audience like people. It's always like him and guests putting on some sort of front. So the shills are more easier to see through now than ever. I expose the living shit out of them. I have plenty of exposed videos I can show anyone if you want to figure out who these people are. And the important thing is, if you look at who's progressing the research with the topic, it's definitely not them. And so, you listen to like what Shay did here. You're not going to see any of the losers like that Jaron had on his Baby Truther show ever, explain anything like that on their shill show.
Yep. There's so many comments coming in. I just want to address all of them. Okay, so ODD, like the people talking about him and I were friends on Facebook until I started questioning the map. And then he said, it may not be perfect, but it's just the best one that we have right now. And I'm like, no, it's not.
The one that was handed to us. Okay, yeah. So this guy's asking about cruises from LA to Japan. Yes, the cruise info, it's looking like the itineraries show typically a 7-day gap. So there's a 7-day gap where they're at sea. When they go from LA to Japan, Japan to LA, there's always this gap of about 7 days where they're at sea. And so we think that's the time frame that they're taking. If they're going 24 hours a day, booking it as fast as they can go, that it takes them 7 full days, traveling as fast as they can go, 24 hours a day. It takes them a good 7 days to get from around Alaska up over the top there. So basically, if you look behind Shay, and then you do what we did before with that one website, kind of shrink down the size of those northern continents, those countries up there, shrink them down a little bit, taking about 7 days. So let me pull it up on Google Maps, actually.
Which also makes sense with the Pearl Harbor, because they knew 10 days, like they were traveling for 10 days when they attacked in their submarine.
Let me pull up Google Map real quick. All right. So what they're saying is it takes you usually a couple days to get up here to Alaska from Los Angeles. It'll take you a couple days just to get up here. And then it'll just say at sea for 7 days. So that's when I think that they're heading up and around possibly and cutting up over the top this way. And again, you got to shrink down these countries. They're overrepresented on this Google Maps, in my opinion.
Russia has a lot of extra land.
So when you look at Russia, look how gigantic it is. So we think that that is highly overrepresented. For instance, if you look at where most people would live in Russia, it's over here in Moscow. So this is like, where the capital is, or where most people are going to live, is around Moscow. And that's next to Europe. So now you're actually right next to Eastern Europe here. But then when you look at how far this damn country stretches, look at these areas where it's just basically looks like nothingness. It's like unexplored nothingness, the middle of nowhere. And look how gigantic it just goes and goes and goes and goes until supposedly all the way over here 52 miles away from Alaska. So when they leave from Japan, it says it takes them a day to get from Tokyo, Japan to Petropavlovsk. So it takes them 24 hours, they say, to go this distance from Tokyo to Petropavlovsk. They say this is done in one day by boat up to here.
Planewalker, Hawaii is not the most west island we can go to. I have that research somewhere.
And then the cruise will show from Petropavlovsk that it'll head north and be at sea for 7 days before it shows up over here in Anchorage and then drops back down. So I was looking at some from Vancouver as well, and there's this gap of about 7 days. So when you check the itinerary, like for instance, the itinerary on the one from Vancouver, they got from Vancouver to Anchorage in a day, just sailing in 1 day. So when you look at that distance, Vancouver to Anchorage in a day, and then you think, okay, and then there's 7 days at sea, They get up over the top here in day one. Over here, maybe by day 2. I think all these Canadian islands aren't as big as represented, so you can sail straight through here. Day 3, Greenland's overrepresented. I don't think it's really that big, so you're maybe out here by day 4. Day 5, now you're maybe over the top of Russia. Day 6, coming up over the top of Russia. So I think that's how they're doing it, is they're going up over the top.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And like I said, it looks like there's a lot of mental barriers when you look at this. You think, oh, your boat has to go through all these Canadian islands. And then look at Greenland, how it sticks way out like that down there. And then look how big, gigantic Russia is. But again, you know, when you scale these things back, it can be not nearly that big. So we'll go back and show you the one website that scales it back for you to put it in perspective. Show that one more time for anyone who might have missed it.
Someone asked that question from earlier. If Japan is on the other side of the map from Hawaii, why is there? I just scrolled up.
So check it out. So here again is the website that shrinks the size of the continents to what they say is a more correct size and proportion. See? So you have to assume that perhaps the maps we're looking at, countries are definitely overrepresented as psychological warfare to create an illusion of dominance, one country over another. And if Russia has shrunk down that much, and Greenland has shrunk down that much, and Canada and all those islands are shrunk down, suddenly, like I said, it's not so far of a stretch to think that they can sail across there over the top in 7 days. And by plane, about 8 hours. So by plane, catching a jet stream, the window is 8 hours. And by boat, it takes about 7 days of being at sea.
Just gonna put up
Well, it takes more than 7 days total, but there's always like a 7-day window I noticed on these cruises where it says that they're at sea. Sometimes more, 8 or 9 days even. And so it's in that window where it just says at sea on the itinerary, where you have to assume that's when they're making their move. So, what are you reading, Shay?
Oh, I was just sharing the link to my channel, which was taken forever.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to check out Shay's content, make sure to subscribe to her channel there. She just posted a link right there in chat. So if you want to check out her channel, she posts content pretty regularly. So
no, space does not exist as they say it does.
Who asked that?
Or teach it.
That same guy that asked about the Earth. So does space even
we're
exist?
waking someone up.
Absolutely not. All space missions are fake. I personally think that the rocket ships are more likely to be helium balloons. So basically you take like a blimp and you disguise it as a rocket, and then you have like fireworks shooting off fire at the bottom of the blimp going up, and then the blimp takes off and leaves your view, and then they can have it splash down in the ocean, and then they can go scoop it up and even reuse it again, let's say. But basically, if they can just trick you into thinking that stuff is going to space, that's enough for most people. But when you really look into these rockets, they seem really slow. You ever notice when the rocket's taking off, it's like, but if you ever go launch a model rocket, it's gone in 2 seconds. In 1.5 seconds, even less than that, it's like, pew! If you ever buy a model rocket set and then you launch a model rocket, it shoots so fast up in the sky that you can't see it anymore. And it happens fast. And so people will say, yeah, but that's a small little, model rocket and these are big. No. The speed, it would still be the same. If you're going to take off and go as fast as they say they're going, it should be like the rocket should leave the platform so damn fast. And instead, what does it do? It looks like a hot air balloon taking off with fire underneath. It's like a hot air balloon or a blimp that they just turned up right. You get what I mean? So I personally think that the rocket launches are either CGI, like a lot of these SpaceX ones are just straight up CGI, fake, and then the ones that are done for real, like real rocket launches, it's the rocket that's not legitimately going to space. It's just going up. It's leaving your view, turning sideways, coming back down. They'll even show it go up, turn sideways, and then come back down. And then they'll switch away and show a booster coming off. And so it's usually camera trickery that they use to create this illusion. And then if you really want to do your own investigation, just look into the fake moon landings. The moon landings are as fake as it gets. Look into the International Space Station. Watch International Space Station footage with a critical eye. These are people in a green screen in front of they're in a harness in front of a green screen. So the simplest ones to debunk are the International Space Station, the moon landings, Chinese space station. It's basically made for children. So if you can watch a movie and figure out that a movie's not real and use that same level of scrutiny when you watch a space mission footage, just ask yourself, could this be fake? Could they be using movie style special effects to trick us, the public? And once you just run any NASA footage through just the lightest bit of scrutiny, you'll see it's fake as funk. All right, Rose Bellman with a donation says, so there weren't any people on the rocket that blew up in 85 or 86. No, in fact, if you look into that one, all those people appear to be still alive. You can find all those people alive. They have twins. All those people apparently have a twin. And you can find the twins still alive. Some of them are even like professors at universities, which people have brought up, why doesn't one of us go confront them, ask them about it, which would be interesting, but I don't think it's quite as easy as you would think. So if you look into the Challenger explosion hoax, you'll find that you can locate most all of the Challenger members. And in some cases, they don't even change their name. It's like they had a twin who had the same name. It's funny how they have twins, and then on the International Space Station, Scott Kelly had a twin as well, Viking Jerk with a donation says, I love watching ISS bloopers. Yeah, if you go to here on YouTube and search ISS bloopers, you're going to have to scroll to find the right footage. But if you go to BitChute and look up the bloopers, on BitChute, you can still find them. But they hide a lot of space bloopers here on YouTube. So you got to do some digging. But on my channel, I have plenty of instances of me debunking the International Space Station. I have instances in my early content of debunking the moon landings. And so it's quite an easy subject. In fact, we can do a quick look at the lunar module real fast. Are you trying to show something right now, Shay, or no?
Nope.
Oh, you already showed that. Okay. Let me go ahead and bring up a picture of the lunar module real quick. Just this guy's still here and still paying attention.
Hey, at least he found us and not the shills. At least you're going to get the truth about the flat earth.
Save this pic real quick.
Satellites are in the ocean. You ever see all the wires and stuff in the ocean? That's why astronauts drown when they're trying to work on them.
Shit. One sec, guys.
You're seeing stars. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, they're stars, not planets where people can live and function. They're stars, lights in the sky, named after gods.
Oh, all right, here we go. Sorry for the wait. Let me pull this guy up on screen. There she is. Ain't she beautiful? So,
Looks expensive.
if that guy's still out there watching, who asked about, is space real or not? This is what they say. They landed on the moon in this lunar module detached from the main rocket, and that it landed on the moon. And if you take a look at it, you should notice that it looks a little funny. Like you should, just upon seeing it, there should be alarm bells and whistles that go off. Now, if you're a diehard space lover, you might start making up excuses. But personally, I think it looks more like a homeless tweaker shelter. And I've even asked people when out on the streets, hey, do you think this looks like a lunar module, or do you think it looks more like a homeless tweaker shelter? The common man on the streets will say it looks more like a homeless tweaker shelter, right? So my thing is if you really start zooming in, the devil's in the details. Like, what does he do? Like, what is the spaceman doing? Like, is this a computer? Like, what is he even looking at? And when you really look close, it's like, look at this bar that comes out here, and this bar here, and this like tarp thing that's just hanging there. And then let's see, if we go up here, like, what is this, like an intercom system or something?
Yeah, what is
Hey,
that?
fellas, come back. This is the intercom for the moon. It's lunchtime on the moon, fellas. Come back over and out. It's like, look at that. Like, what the hell even is that? It's like they took some random parts and some tinfoil, and they shoved it together, and they're like, that looks good enough. People will and I find this thing funny. It's like a Twinkie or a hot dog or something. Just like a random Twinkie
We
or a
got
hot
a
dog or something.
super chat from Viking.
And then look at the paneling. This is airtight, man. This is airtight, bro. This paneling.
Seriously.
Yeah, that shit is as airtight and well built. American made, man. That's what they made in America.
How much did that cost? Do we know?
Oh shit, hundreds of millions. I forget the exact number, but we'll have to look that up.
Before Javid, I think there's another super chat from Viking.
All right, Javid says agreed that the rocket goes downward till you can't see it, but after the booster's released, you see footage of the rocket in space. Is that another rocket with nobody in it, or fish lands? Well, that's when they switch away to their stock footage. So their stock footage is of the back view of the rocket thruster. So that doesn't have that's just like bullshit footage that they stick in. So once the rocket starts going down and they're done with showing you the actual takeoff footage, then they switch to that booster coming off, and then usually it's a nighttime sky. Like it'll go from daylight to nighttime, like that in their footage. And so
it cost $50 million to build that.
$50 million.
$50 million. What?
All Halo Cat says, Jake and Shay, your teamwork has become better and better. Hey, well, the more that we work together, the better it's going to get, and Shay's getting more confident with her research and talking to crowds, talking to my audience. And you guys have accepted her in, and a lot of you guys now watch her and follow her. So that's, of course, going to come naturally. So, yeah, $50 million. Thanks for looking that up so that we actually have a
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
Fifty.
if that guy who asked the question about space being fake, if you're still watching, you just have to ask yourself, do you really think that this thing landed on the moon? And just looking at it, I see what looks to me like curtain rods, scotch tape, tin foil, uh, crap, basically.
Yeah. Where did the money really go?
So that's
I'll put another link.
so that's definitely an image right there that I like to show people, and you'd be surprised how many people who believe in the moon landing don't even know that that's what it looks like. When I showed my dad that the first time, his mouth dropped open, but since then he's like put it out of his memory. So
That link I just posted was to my channel. Somebody asked again.
So that is how I ended up being the first guy in the world to put that on a T-shirt. You know, this is the prototype.
What a great shirt!
I actually spelled tweakers wrong on this. This is the prototype. So I actually went to sell a shitload of these. Like I've sold, not even kidding, thousands of dollars of these, multiple thousands of dollars of these.
That's great.
Yeah. So, before we shut her down, I can even go ahead and show you the map that those shill guys were trying to push. I'll show it to you, Shay, and we can even do a future episode about it. Smash
Yeah,
it.
I'll have to watch some other videos.
Awake Souls map. Here it is. Pull it onto my desktop and I'll bring it up. Now, I'm not trying to promote these guys in any way. These guys are shills and they're liars and charlatans. And let me go ahead and show you the map that they're trying to convince people is the one true map.
Are these the guys that are from God?
These are the guys that, yeah, they say that they're the ones sent from God, and that they called me like a Satanist. They even told me that they busted my pedo ring. They said that one time. They said that I was running a pedo ring and that they busted it.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice fellas, huh?
From God. So horrible Christians.
All right, here we go. This is it.
Oh, gee.
So what they say is that that we live in a computer simulation.
That is from the Kabbalah.
They say we live in a computer simulation, and they have Antarctica sliced in half on both sides of the map. And so what they say is if you go around Antarctica over here like this, you're going to pop out over here like that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. You know what they say? What they say happens if you go north in the north end of the map? Pop out down south.
Yep. So this is actually getting popular. I have seen videos where people are talking about portals in Antarctica and popping out on the other side. Yep.
And look where they have Alaska.
People will believe this, but
look where they have Alaska and Russia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because they want to, because they believe, because everyone believes that those the two countries like practically touch, or those two areas practically touch.
These guys say that you can go around.
Yes,
Antarctica.
Creation, not simulation.
They say you can go around Antarctica like this, whoop, and that you're going to pop out over on this side like this. And they say, yeah, that if you go in like to the north, you're going to pop out down here. No, what was funny is Ronnie, one guy said that you go north and you pop out down south. And then in another episode, Jason, the other guy, claimed that if you go in north over here, that you're going to pop out up at the top over here. So he claimed you're going over here and then you pop back out coming downward this way.
Yep. So
then,
this is getting popular, and I can't believe people believe this.
So Ronnie and Jason both contradicted themselves. Their name are Ronnie and Jason, and they'll say things like you go up in north and you pop out down south, but then they'll also say you go up north and then you pop out coming southward down like this direction. See what I mean? Like you go follow Alaskan islands and then you pop out like coming over here. So they can't even decide which way you pop out on their map. So these guys called me a satanic shill, and they said that I was friends with Jaron and David Weiss and Kelsey Kerwin, this blonde bimbo. And then they went on the Baby Truther show and presented this map after saying that I was friends with those guys. And they even said that I was a satanic shill and that I ran a pedo ring. And they said that Ronnie told me he busted my pedo ring, Shay. So these are the type of human beings we're dealing with.
Yeah, that's crazy. I just shared a video on the Kabbalion book, and these guys are totally part of this book. They've got to be Freemasons. It comes from the Freemasons, and they say we live in a simulation, all that stuff. You guys should check out that video. It goes right along with what he's saying right
Javid
now.
says they lost that debate against Red's rhetoric with the map. Yeah, so basically, when I was calling out Jaron and David Weiss back in November last year, I was bending them over and spanking them. And I was showing the Baby Truther show, and I've even sent you the videos, Shay.
I love that video.
And I was showing how they don't discuss any actual truth, that it's just a garbage shill show. And I was spanking them basically on a daily basis. And I made the one girl, Kelsey Kerwin, quit the show. Like
she quit after you posted that video?
Oh, yeah. Because I proved that she came from MTV. She has a history being an actress on MTV. She also kind of looks like she might be a man. And she's a fake truther. She didn't have any truth on her channel. So what's funny is somebody tried to talk shit about you, Shay. One time somebody showed up in my comments and said, oh, you're doing what Jaron did and you're going to bring on a girl like Jaron did with Kelsey Kerwin. It's like, dude, Shay's nothing like Kelsey Kerwin.
No.
Like, you're nothing.
I'm passionate about this. I'm not like copying someone's dance.
No, exactly.
Dance she was doing.
She didn't have a single truther video on her channel, and Jaron recruited her. So Jaron recruits people who don't know jack shit to be like his posse, which of course is something a shill would do, right? You recruit a bunch of like losers, like a failed MTV actress, hoe bag to be one of your sidekicks to try to get more ratings. And then you use her to try and peddle the app so you can get more people to sign up for the app so that you and David Weiss can roll in the cash. And so basically, we're not just up against, regular shills. We're up against people who, this is their job. They're paid to do this. And
of course,
they're the ones who get optimized by YouTube, of course, generally.
Of course, Elon Musk said we're in a simulation because watch my video about the Kabbalion. Or just look up the book and you can watch a video on the book, and that is their goal. They want you to believe you're in a simulation. And if you're on the globe, they want you to believe you're a teeny tiny piece of dust.
And check it out. On their map, you have to go east from Alaska to get to Russia. The short way. Because they have it wrapping around the North Pole up there. You see that? So they're
kind of copying the globe, but that's not a flat Earth map.
Well, like the directions on their map get wonky because it's like a east to west. When you look at it going side to side, it seems. But then when you get up here, you see what I mean? Like west from Alaska now is turning into east. You see what I'm saying? Right there.
Yeah, I guarantee these guys are Freemasons. I don't want anything to do with them.
These guys right here will say that anyone who goes against this map is a Satanist. So expect them in a video to probably go against us and call us Satanists. like I said, Ronnie told me that he busted my pedo ring.
Wow, how
He
low.
told me that. He told me that he busted my and David Weiss's pedo ring, and then he went on David Weiss's show and presented this map.
He went on David Weiss's show and promoted this map?
The Baby Truther show. So it was Jaron.
I need to watch a few episodes of that. That was really shocking. Your video on them. I did not know that they made themselves into babies. If you tried to do that with my image, I'd be so mad.
Right. Here, let me
don't turn me into a baby.
Here, I'll go ahead and just bring it up for you and show you since we're talking about it. Oh, shit. Here, give me a minute while I find it.
What is the shortest way to get from one point to another? Yeah, they all have ties to the Rockefellers. And I'm definitely a creationist, not simulationist. I think the simulation thing is so ridiculous.
Ah, here we go.
Powerland who put it.
Okay. So let me share this. I finally found the video. Shit. So you can
I'm laughing just thinking about it, thinking about her dancing and here.
Okay, so you can see my screen now. Here we go. So this is Ronnie Harris and Jason, whatever the hell his last name is.
Jason Freemason.
Ronnie and Jason, and these are the two guys that have that what they call a stereographic map that we were just looking.
I can tell just by looking at them what they're all about.
All right, and so they went on the Baby Truther show with Jaron, David Weiss, Alex Stein before he got promoted, and Rose 777 and Kelsey Kerwin. So the Baby Truther crew was Jaron, David Weiss, Alex Stein, Rose 777, and Kelsey Kerwin. And these two guys were saying that I'm friends with the Baby Truther crew and that I know them and I hang out with them. And then they made videos calling me a satanic shill and that I run a pedo ring. Because I was saying that Jaron's show is a pedo show, or it has pedo vibes, is what I was saying. And so what they did is they ran a concurrent investigation calling me a satanic shill who's in on it, who's running a fake investigation. This is what they told their audience. They said that I was running a concurrent fake investigation and that I hang out with all those guys and that I'm friends with them. So after I exposed Jaron and Kelsey Kerwin and all these guys, I exposed the shit out of them, they went on the show of the guys they said I was friends with and presented their map. So this is basically the episode where they're all there together. You see what I'm saying? And I'll find a clip even of them showing the map. Shit, it's got a commercial. Let me get through this commercial real quick.
Yep, shills of a feather flock together. You're right, sunflower.
Is it right? Separate north and south? On yours? So this way you'd be turning right to go west, and you'd be turning left to go west. Oh, my computer just jumped. But basically, that's it. That's the best way that I can explain to people, and I know it might seem difficult for people to understand. So this east and west, you can do circles around the north, and you can do circles around the south. Now, we don't have proof of the 24-hour sun in either one. Jason and I were able to, we looked at both with critical, skeptical eyes, because we don't care if it's a Morpheus strip. We're just, again, and this map here is just a concept. It's a concept.
Ronnie, by adding these portals, these asteroid portals, I mean, it kind of makes, you can make anything possible. If I said, hey, I want you to build me a house with the master bedroom, then I want 3 other children's bedrooms in a row, and then I want another master bedroom, but I want that second master bedroom next to the first master bedroom. Could you do that? And the answer is no, you can't do that.
So what I take it to, David, is really simple. It's like this. If the temperature outside is 30.
So there he's comparing like the sun going through portals to be like, oh, well, can you build a master bedroom with a portal? What if I want a master bedroom? So basically, this is the controlled debate that they have.
Does Dave have a black eye in that video? It does kind of look like he has a black eye in that video.
I didn't notice if he did, but
like, how weird. Like, men getting together and punching each other in the eye. Keep the secrets.
But check it out. So this is them when they start talking about this this stereographic map, just to show you like how they're trying to control both sides of the debate. And the debate, you know, either has this whack map that nobody uses except for these two dudes, or the AE map. So what do you think that the audience is going to choose? What do you think that the outcome is for the Baby Truth audience?
Who's going to win?
They automatically consider this square rectangle thing bullcrap, and they cling to the AE map even more so.
Measure the azimuth and altitude to where the sun is, and that is the reading that you get. That's all you got to do.
I'm not discussing that reading, but the factor of the atmospheric factor to distort things in the horizon is true. That is something that is
a little line along the horizon. You'll see a little like.
Well, but we can see a lot of objects, boats, people, person, whatever, planes.
I've got a P1000. I record a lot of long distance footage.
Yes,
I'm very familiar.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why am I'm getting an echo here? When you're morphing from one side of the app is one side of the
asteroiding.
Asteroiding, yes. Thank you. Sorry. Is there a specific line? Is there a specific latitude that longitude or longitude that happens at?
That I'm saying you can move that anywhere in reality. So again, everything.
The entire border.
Right, it moves from where you are. You never get to it because it's equally far away.
Like chasing rainbows. Same principle.
I actually caught a rainbow once, so that's not good. That's not good.
Okay. No, I bet there's.
Shit. I had my
I was like, why can't I hear him?
I had my mic muted. Okay. So what they do is they control both sides of the narrative this way. And so anyone presenting an alternative model outside of the circle map, they'll make you look like a fool. And so Ronnie and Jason, for instance, you know, they show with this, and they say, yeah, you go up north, you pop out south, you go to the east, you pop out in the west. You can go around Antarctica, which they have split in half down there. And so when people say, okay, my options are these weirdos or the AE map, I'm going to stick to the AE.
And those weirdos are supposedly the Christians, and that bothers me too.
Yeah, and so these guys say that it's not Jesus. You know what they call him?
What, Yeshua.
Yahashawai.
Yahushua, Yahweh. Yeah,
so I noticed people use different words. They'll say I've heard Yahushua, Yeshua. These guys say Yahashawai. So
which all means Joshua.
Team, it's up at the top of the screen. Team Yahashawai. And
Oh,
so
boy.
these two goons told their audience that I'm friends with the Baby Truther Show crew and that I run a pedo ring and that they busted it. That's what they told their audience. And then they invited me to come on their show. They're like, "Would you like to come on our show so that we can expose you?"
Yeah, I'd love to. Can't wait to be your
I'm
guest.
like, you mean me come on and then have you guys like put me on some graphic where like I'm on. What they wanted to do is put me on like a burning devil's chair, and that they were going to be like, they're going to be on both sides like this, looking down on me, and that they were going to have me on this like burning chair, and they were going to like basically have me in hell, in the eternal hellfire, and they were going to like expose me. That was like their whole plan. I'm like, you morons do know that I've never met Kelsey Kerwin, and everything that you've said about me is a lie, and you have zero proof of any of it. And so I'm going to expose you and make you look like an absolute buffoon to my audience, and it's basically going to destroy your credibility even more so. So there's some people who are stupid enough to actually fall for these dudes' deception, and not many. So if you visit their channel, they'll get like 1,000 views, but they bought their views because there'll be like 2 comments.
Yeah. Okay, Chewy Chicken. I exposed that deception, so it's all in my videos. That's not what it means. You're just falling for deception, which is what we're trying to explain here with the whole truth. There's lies mixed in with the truth. So your Bible's never called him that. Calls God God and Jesus Jesus, except for like one passage, which was snuck in by the Schofield Bible. It's like a whole nother video, so stop.
Sid Guy says, Jake, what do you think of Beyond the Imaginary Curve? I used to watch him when I was into this years ago. I haven't watched Dell in years myself. When I first got into Flat Earth back in 2015-16, I enjoyed his stuff more. But then when I started making my own content, I kind of like didn't really enjoy his take, and then he started to seem shilly to me. Like he kept getting promoted by Eric Dubay, and he's just like covered in tattoos, and some of them look like satanic Masonic symbolism tattoos. So I'm not going to judge someone specifically because they have tattoos, but his style of presenting the material, like it got old to where it was like he doesn't try and figure out a map or a model. He's all like, I don't need a map or a model, but he doesn't ever try and figure
Then
one out.
there's those people that they don't need a map or a model, so they'll just let the shows be the shows.
But he just basically, every time I watched him, he would repeat a lot of the same talking points. Fuck yeah, you think it's a fucking glove, then fuck yeah. It's not a fucking glove, not fucking spinning in fucking space. You think it's a glove, then fuck yeah. You fucking on a fucking glove, fuck yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. And it's like,
who he is.
he's got this really thick, like English, Scottish accent thing going on. Fuck yeah, if you think it's a fucking glove, not spinning in space, fuck yeah, kind of thing. To where I haven't heard anything from him over the last bunch of years that's new. You get what I mean? Like what we're talking about is like light years ahead of Dell. So I can't say Dell's a shill for sure, but he does get promoted by Eric Dubay, and I think Eric Dubay is 100% shill. So if 100% shill says go watch Dell, I tend to put them in the same category. But Dell's never done anything shilly specifically to me, and he's never made like a flat earth asshole, anti-flat earth asshole video or anything like that to where he like totally outed himself. So I can't say for sure that he is. And I know a lot of people still like Dell, still watch Dell, but can anybody bring up anything that he's done or said in the last bunch of years in his shed that has brought anything new to the table? Javid Ben Cosme with a donation, laughing his ass off. So I guess he liked my impression of Dell. I think I might have missed another super chat too at some point.
And no, my map does not require 2 suns because, like I said, this is my ring light. My ring light. This is not my ring light. This is a reflection of my ring light. So, do I have 2 ring lights, or do I have a reflection of a ring light and a ring light? It's the same thing. So there doesn't have to be 2 suns if there's a dome. It's a reflection. Why is the sun warm sometimes and
the sun is a mystery all of its own, and so is the moon. And so
I just think there's one sun and moon and a reflection.
If we can just wrap our head around the human portion of the map and figure out that humans don't pop out the map to the other side.
Yeah.
If we get that for sure, the sun might do that, but people not do that. If we can hammer that down, if we can for sure get that proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can't go west and pop out in the east, you can't go north and pop out in the south. If we can hammer that proof for absolute sure, that basically is going to debunk the globe, concave, and the AE map all at the same time.
Yeah, we basically are inside of a compass, a giant compass.
Possibly. You got to remember, you got to also consider question marks on the outside of our barnyard, and if you throw in new land masses,
we can add new land masses and stuff, but north is north.
Even bigger, then who knows?
South is south, west is west, east is east, and you can divide them into 4 sections. You can split the earth in half.
And then if there's
between north and south, half between.
If there's
west.
These reset events every 400 or 500 years, however long, if there's reset events, you can only imagine how many times, in the past, this could have happened to where we get to a point like this, let's say, and then the earth floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, all going on at once, what have you. So if there is some sort of reset to go on again, the elites are the ones who are set up and prepared to hide underground and then pop back out and gather up all the land again. So you have to wonder if in the past we've been in this situation before,
like every 100 years. I mean, even the flat earth, go look up the flat earth 100 years ago. It was the exact same thing, that a Jake probably existed. Someone like me probably existed. So yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff does make you feel like you're in the Matrix a little bit, but I'm still a creationist. It's just weird how history is constantly repeating itself.
Chewy Chicken is just, he thinks that Asians, I guess, are the same as Native Americans, and I guess
they speak differently.
Are Asians just, were they magically created in Asia? See, that's the thing about human creation. And if the map and world are bigger than we know, then perhaps people who look like Asians might be on some other land masses that we don't know about, and their descendants came over. We don't know how many resets, like I was just talking about resets. We don't know how many resets have happened in the past, so we don't know, which people boated from which continent when and how many times. So you got to look at our history as being still up for grabs, and they lied to us about damn near everything. So you can't just consider everything. You can't throw out everything that Jay has showed you.
Look at this book. Like, damn near everything in here is a lie.
So let me make this point. You can't throw out every single piece of evidence that Shay showed, FPV showed, and that I've showed that supports this notion, and then go, Native Americans and Chinese and Japanese, they look the same.
Yeah. So
that doesn't make the whole everything that we've shown you go away.
Yeah.
Understand, Chewy Chicken? So I understand that you're skeptical, Chewy Chicken, but that skepticism and that statement in and of itself isn't an actual debunk.
He probably followed Rob Skiba. That's what I'm thinking. And can we just say that Jake uncovered the fact that Rob Skiba is a CIA agent? He
I can't
called
say that's what he is
himself
for
out.
sure, but he's definitely COINTELPRO, and I think I don't even think he's really dead. I think he's fake dead because
Me
there's
too.
old footage of him predicting the pandemic down to a T and exactly how it's all going to go down, and then he died of the spiky ball disease. What are the
And he
odds?
was a Kabbalist. I
How
did
you
a
gonna-
video exposing him. Jake did a video exposing him. We've done a lot of videos exposing the same things, and just now are meeting each other.
So basically, the guy died from a thing that he called out back in 2013 or 2012.
How convenient.
Like he literally called out every detail of the 2020
Every detail.
that went down. The pandemic. He called out the pandemic back in 2013 and exactly how it was all going to go down, and then he got the spiky ball disease and died from it. So how are you going to die from the thing that you told us was coming?
Yeah, exactly.
And then Mac Parhar, the Canadian flat earther, and so basically both those guys were conference flat earthers, part of the Shill crew, and so it's interesting how all this information is going to, what's going to happen when the Shills start sticking their nose into our research, trying to act like they're the ones discovering it,
If they do. And yes, a violent one, Yeshua or Yahuwah is Metatron, aka Lucifer. So if you research that further, you're gonna find that out, and then you'll know what Rob Skiba's job was. To say he's CIA, though, he is the one. Rob Skiba said he was CIA. Jake posted a video where he called himself CIA.
They all have a bit of a military policey vibe,
yeah, you can just look at them and actors.
Dave Weiss has a military policey vibe to me. Jaron doesn't. Jaron has a convicted felon working down his sentence kind of feel. Jaron has an informant kind of feel to him. So I feel like a guy like David Weiss is he's got this police thing. RV Truth, he's even calling himself the Truth Police. RV seems policey to me. He seems military-ish to me.
Yeah, they do to me too.
So here's what they have in the flat earth. They either have people that seem like police or military or compromised, like ODD, a compromised criminal who's working on
low-level criminals. That's what I found.
Well, I feel like ODD and Jaron are like compromised criminals who work on behalf of the government to get their sentence
like their
reduced.
Charity or whatever.
Yeah, get their sentence reduced and shit. Yeah.
Jay says, I miss Rob Skiba though, really? So about Rob Skiba again, yes, he was a very likable guy. He was another person I was friends with when I became a flat earther. But he's leading people in the wrong direction, and he is a Kabbalist. So, I mean, Antichrist is going to see the one world leader is going to seem like a great person too. Like Trump seems like a great person to some of you. So these people may seem like heroes or like they're great, but they're still
they are nice in person.
They're nice.
They're nice. If you went to the Flat Earth conference, I didn't go. I turned it down. But if you would have went, they would have shook your hand and smiled and been your friend at the event. And any other Flat Earther you met would have smiled and been your friend. But that's the thing is just because they smile and are friendly, and you have the ability to meet them, doesn't necessarily make them legit. So I knew people that were like, I met Mark Sargent, I met Patty Steer. They were nice to me. They can't be shills. It's not like they're gonna slap you in the face and go, ha ha ha, I'm an evil shill. Right? So of course they're gonna be nice if you meet them. So I have met some of these people and they were nice to me. In fact, they kissed my ass, these people, because I was popular at the time. And so they were trying to get me to be their friend. It made sense for them to be nice. And so
they were nice to me too. They were nice to me, but I don't like liars. So
you have to look at their level of research, and then you have to look at the way, they battle, let's say, like globe trolls and battle the opposition.
Yeah.
There's some guys like Jaron who will like blow his flat Earth experiments on a flat Earth documentary, and then he'll do like shit like the baby truther crap, to where it's like he's constantly just trying to make the subject, look ridiculous. And if you do fall for that, you're basically following a guy who's going to lead you in circles. So he's never going to lead you to any new information or breakthrough material. So basically, if once you figure out that the Earth isn't a spinning globe, they have an entire sector, a cult, to intercept you. And it's a very well set up cult from top to bottom with different characters. So if Jaron's not your guy, or if David Weiss isn't your guy, like let's say you live in England, well, they have Flat Earth England Marty Leedkey or whatever his name is. They have what's his name doing the debates over there, Nathan Oakley. So they have different characters to intercept you and lead you right back to that AE map crew in one way or the other.
Yes, Dud. I thought the same thing. Put his comment up. That's exactly what I thought when we were watching that.
What?
Dud Pistachio says, sorry, just catching up. Strange that David Weiss example analogy is, where did it go? Oh, involved multiple children's bedrooms. Strange man.
And see, here's another thing I don't necessarily agree with. ODD was a good way to introduce FE to noobs.
Oh, I hate that too.
Because here's what you do. You introduce them to the wrong thing, and then when they find out that it's wrong, they're more likely to go back to the globe and retreat. So a lot of people that jump on the AE Map Express, because it's so easy and it's nice for noobs, they're the quickest ones that when they watch one of these globers debunk it, or a flat Earth.
Once you figure out something is a lie,
then they don't know what to think. Then they don't know what to think. And so I don't think it's the best idea. Like, oh, if you're going to convert someone to flat Earth, you have to start by giving them the wrong map. And have to deceive them, and then you have to wean them off the deception, and then show them Shay and FPV shit to get them onto the Mercator map.
I don't want to do it that way.
It's so I don't like this argument where like, oh, because it's easy, like that's because,
and it's really also, not easy.
Also, you exposed, they were exposed to him, and what is he? He's a convicted, sex offender. ODD is. So when you dig into his past, you find out some of these people involved are sketchy. He's not the first sex offender, to be involved in the flat Earth deal. There's this other guy named Authentic Intent who was a convicted sex offender who all the main flat earthers would stick up for, and they had him as a speaker on the conference.
Do you recognize the name Brian? A guy named Brian that actually did math and was super smart and just disappeared.
Oh my God, what's his name?
Brian seemed like a super nice guy. The only one I looked into.
His name just left my head. Oh my God, yeah. Shit. Somebody in chat say his name. Who was the engineer? Brian, what's his face?
And he left. He said he just wanted to be with his family. Just kind of people thought he might have died.
No, he got married and he split, but the rumor was that his job told him no more of this shit or you're fired. And so I heard,
he didn't seem like a show. I mean, from what little bit he was leaving right as I was coming on, he was leaving. Yes.
Mullins. Okay, so Brian Mullins was like the go-to guy if you wanted to present a smart argument for flat Earth, because he was like, I'm an engineer. You guys, you better help me because I think I'm going to turn into a flat earther. And then he had these really good videos where he drew on his blackboard.
Yeah, that's
they all disappeared. And Mark Sargent and Patty on Flat Earth and Hot Potatoes came out and spoke for him on his behalf and said he's getting married. They're going to start a family. So he wanted to step away from the flat Earth so that they could get married and start a family. Getting married and starting a family doesn't mean that you're going to completely give up on your research on the most important topic as far as conspiracies go. It's like a life-changing, mind-altering topic. I doubt that you're just going to get married and then completely shut up unless your wife tells you no more flat Earth. So I heard a few people say that his job, and I don't know how true this is, might not be true, but it makes sense if it is. I heard that his job, this engineer job, that the people, his boss or whoever who hire him, told him no more flat Earth shit, and you need to take all that stuff down. Otherwise, you're not going
That
to work.
makes sense. Yeah.
So I think he may have.
Hopefully he's still alive. I don't know.
So no, he's alive.
Is he alive?
I'm pretty sure he still has a Facebook and stuff. I don't know exactly what happened to him, so I'm pretty sure he's still out there. But he basically just fell off the scene, fell off the map, so to speak.
Nathan Oakley. Shay, we come across behind the imaginary curve.
Yeah, I just talked about him earlier.
That's They're catching up. They might be a little bit behind.
Waking up to the truth, says Jake. Dale from Beyond the Imaginary Curve is genuine. I know you say he's the angry Scott, but he's Jake. Those are just clips, of course, where I've seen him, angry and cussing. I know he doesn't do that all the time. And like I said, when I first was watching Flat Earth videos, I used to watch him more, but over the last bunch of years, what has he done that's like new, or what new info or evidence has he brought to the table? And like I said, what concerns me is Eric Dubay gives the guy a shout out a lot. And so Eric Dubay generally doesn't give anyone a shout out. Usually Eric is like, I'm the only real one and everyone's a shill. And he's like one of the biggest shills. So if Eric gives him a shout out, it makes me wonder. But like I said, he's never done anything to me personally, so I can't say for sure. He might be legit. Javid says, someone in the chat asking if allegedly Dave is a shill. I don't think so, because he's not promoting the map heavy and he's no longer in contact with AE mappers. Allegedly Dave. Is that like the black guy? Is he a black guy?
I don't know who that is.
Is he like an English black guy? I can't quite remember. I'm not sure who that is either.
Eric Dubay's videos aren't spot on. He says Polaris is above the center of the Earth, and if you
go ahead.
Oh, if you know anything about astrology, it'd be absolutely impossible for a Polaris to be in the center of the Earth. And he went and talked to me about that. So he just has a way of speaking that makes people think he's intelligent, but he's not.
Well, Plain Walker definitely doesn't like him. He says, allegedly Dave promoted piss-drinking vegan shit. Fuck him.
Oh,
Trust me, I fell for that. Uh-oh.
Oh, did you drink your pee?
You fell.
Jake, did you drink your pee? Let's have this drink and pee confession. How many of you truthers drink your pee?
I never drink my pee, and but I did try to go vegan for like a little while.
I tried the vegan. Yeah. I never drank my pee.
Yeah.
But people tried to tell me because I had fibromyalgia and like, drink your pee. I'm like, no.
Okay, I am talking about the same guy. I can't take Dave Murphy / allegedly Dave serious because he's into urine therapy. Yeah, I don't like urine therapy because like I feel fine, I feel good not drinking it, and then the people who do drink it are like, "Oh, you don't know what you're missing. Oh, it'll just make you feel so much better." And I don't like this whole concept that like I feel fine, I feel good right now, I feel healthy. There's nothing about my feeling right now where I'm like, oh, if I could just like drink some urine, then I'll feel so much better. So it's like these people who do it will try and tell you, oh, you think you feel good now? Just wait till you start drinking urine kind of thing. And I just not buying it that if I drink any of my own urine that I'm going to be like, whoa, I was feeling good, but now I feel great. Whoa.
I feel like it'd make me sick. I feel like that's waste, and you're not supposed to drink it.
I think
so you have a super chat.
Emergency situation or something, mm-hmm. You're in the desert, you have to like wet your mouth or something possibly, Or if I was on death's doorstep and no medicine was working, and that was like one of my last things I was going to try.
Yeah.
But when people are like, oh, pee is the most magical, wonderful thing. It's like, if I drink a gallon of water right now, I'm going to piss like that gallon out over the next couple hours. Or you're telling me like, that's a magic gallon. It's like, I just drank a bunch of water. Of course I'm going to pee it out. If I drink a bunch of beer, I'm going to start peeing it out in like half an hour. 20 minutes. If I start guzzling beer right now, 20 minutes, I'm going to start peeing. Are you telling me that's magical yum yum juice? No, it's pee from beer that I just drank. If anything, it's bad, right? So they want to tell, and then that's when they'll change their story and they'll say, no, you have to be eating a healthy vegan diet in order for your piss to be healthy. Screw you. That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, scroll up. You missed a super chat. Okay, there it goes. I know about Goyim TV. I haven't not contacted anyone from there, but I have looked into that.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down last time, and
Handsome Truth. We were gonna see if he was really handsome.
Oh, I totally wrote that down. Actually, I think it's like a couple pages back on my notes that I wrote that down, and I need to tear it out so I don't. This time I'll tear out the note and leave it on my calendar.
Yeah, we need to look this guy up.
Thanks, Andrew Jordan. If you just jumped in, you missed a lot of info, so you'll definitely want to go back and catch the beginning of the stream and catch up. We covered a ton of stuff today.
Yes, we did.
Beyond the obvious, this vegan warrior was a cop, from what I remember. Yeah, that guy is a piece of shit. And there's a reason why he never made it as a YouTuber. Nobody gives a shit about that guy or his opinions, because he's like angry black man vegan. And all he ever did was push the same rehashed AE map crap. And then when that didn't work, he started trying to be Mr. Crypto. So he tried to be like, oh, I'm a millionaire. I'm a vegan and I'm black and I'm mad and I make a bunch of money on crypto. If you say anything bad about me, I'll beat your ass, motherfucker. Like that's his personality. Did you imagine listening to someone like that?
Like if someone's talking about cryptocurrency, you need to run. They're not part of the truth. Like they should be telling you to invest your money in gold and resources, not crypto.
It's not just that. It's like he's got this like personality where like if he sees this clip of me saying this, he's gonna make a video for 100 people on his channel.
You guys don't show him.
And then he'll be like, I'm gonna beat your ass. If I'm gonna come to where you live, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna beat your ass. I hate that shit. Yeah. So basically that's like his entire existence is that he's vegan, he's mad, he's black, and he likes crypto. And then he was on RV Truth's show, and you know how long they streamed?
How long? Oh, 33 minutes.
8 hours.
Oh, 8 hours?
They did an 8-hour stream together.
Oh my goodness.
Did you imagine like streaming like a shill stream? Like we actually present real info. Imagine a shill stream.
True.
Where all you do is like talk about crypto in circles for like 8 straight hours and just garbage and bullshit.
For 8 hours.
And the vegan diet. So they talk about being vegan and talked about crypto and the AE map cult shit for 8 hours.
I'm so mad I fell for some of this stuff. I fell for the vegan diet. I fell for the sacred name crap.
It's not so much that you fall for it, it's that you learn. It's that you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
So don't be ashamed that you learn. You
learn and you know what? You should be like, if you're in a truth community, once you find out something's a deception, who cares who you told it to? Who cares who believed you? If you find out you told a lie, you should correct it. Like, that's the truth. The truth is you told a lie. So fix it. Don't keep repeating it just because it's popular or the hive mind likes it. There's people on TikTok doing that. It makes me sick. They just keep repeating this lie. You know, they take little clips of Eric Dubay and they become popular. And then all of a sudden they have 100,000 followers just taking all these little clips, taking Dave Weiss's clips, and
Yep.
they're.
Shay showed me. I didn't know it was true.
Wait, can you bring that up? That guy's TikTok.
She showed me on TikTok that that there's these guys who are getting super popular, just rehashing the same AE map shit.
Clips.
Just taking like an Eric Dubé clip and then putting it on TikTok, and then it gets hundreds of thousands of views sometimes. And so these guys who you've never heard of on YouTube, who haven't been,
they're brand new to the flat earth.
New. They've been
brand
in the flat earth like less than 6 months, and they're gaining this big following on TikTok. And so they're starting to wheel out some new characters who are like becoming the new mouthpiece of the flat earth when they've never been around, never done any real research.
Yeah, and they even admit, when I call them out, they admit that, well, we're new. And I'm like, well, you're new and you're repeating a lie. And they just don't care. It's like all about popularity. And on TikTok, you can get paid for your views and likes and shares. So it's all about making money. Once they figure out they're lying and they're still selling out, it's just about the money and popularity. That dopamine. Got to get that dopamine.
Javid says, I see the TikTokers all over Facebook. You know, the TikTokification of America has definitely changed things. People's attention span is so short that now they're only wanting to watch, 30 seconds, or if that, some random stupid crap. And so now it's like they're trying to cater to the brain dead TikTokers and show them these quick flat earth clips. And so what we're ending up with are the people who are falling for that stuff.
Like a honeypot over there.
Bottom of the barrel, stupidest people. Like, I watched a 30-second TikTok flat earth clip and now I'm wondering if it's true. It's like these are some of the people with the least amount of desertion. Like these are the people who are the least likely to see through.
They're just TikTokers. They're just making minute-long videos. I'm on there too under Biblical Earth, and my TikTok was gaining 1,000 followers a day until I called out the map. As soon as I called out the map, it completely died. I was so shadow banned. So that told me something right there. And then meanwhile, these guys that are just now talking about the flat earth, showing like Eric Dubé's clips, ODD's clips, they're becoming super popular.
I guess I missed a message from Andrew. Go back and try and find it, buddy.
Yeah, I'm on my 3rd TikTok account because I keep getting permanently banned for sharing the truth on there. Definitely not a truther platform. Yeah,
I got 2 strikes just for criticizing women. I didn't even do truth. I made a couple of videos criticizing women and got 2 strikes. So like I'm 1 strike from being kicked off TikTok. I don't think I'll last either. Andrew says he's a founder of Goyim. That's why it's important. I'm a trucker, I will. And check out if he's handsome real quick. I'm a guy, so I can't tell. You can tell if a guy's handsome or not, even if you're a guy.
Where does he call himself handsome?
It's like you can tell if someone's ugly or not if you're a guy.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I'm a good-looking guy, and if you're a guy and you're watching me now, you don't have to be ashamed to tell people that Jake the Asshole is a good-looking guy, right?
Exactly. Guys can say other guys are good-looking.
And, if you're watching, somebody who's ugly like David Weiss, then of course you can say that's an ugly dude. Look at that ugly shillbag. And thanks, Andrew, for the donation, buddy. I appreciate that. And Javid says, Jake, here's Sandler with a black eye. Oh yeah, he's part of the Black Eye Club. I can pull up Sandler Black Eye real quick. He's part of their Black Eye Club. And I've even done a video series on the Black Eye Club, and one of them got taken down by YouTube. They didn't like it. That one's over on BitChute. I did a couple different videos on this Black Eye Club. Adam Sandler. Black eye. Basically, anyone who's everyone eventually shows up with a black eye. And this is like Sandler's done it more than once. So this is like the second time he's shown up with one. So this
Yeah,
one's
the black eye
actually
thing is weird. I'd love to be behind the scenes and see like how do people get their black eye? Is it a promotion? Is it a demotion?
So Sandler has shown up with a black eye twice now. And if you go through like the who's who, you'll find some of them just have a very light black eye, like it almost looks like it could be applied with makeup. And then other ones like Richard Branson looks like somebody like beat his ass. You know, Hulk Hogan, his eyeball was black. So like when Hulk Hogan showed up to WrestleMania 9, I want to say, he showed up and then within a few minutes like won the title, and he had this like eye that was like black, like his whole eye was black, and he won the title that night and then went off to do Hollywood movies and shit. So it was like he
So it was
showed
like
up,
a promotion.
yeah, like he showed up with his black eye and they handed him the title that night, and then he went on to like do some Hollywood movies and shit. So a lot of
What
people,
about the women? Like, has Hillary Clinton had a black eye?
I think so, actually. Let me check real quick.
What about Oprah?
Well, how would you tell with Oprah?
I don't know, maybe it'd be yellowish looking. I think she has. I think Hillary has. Jay thinks Hillary's had a black eye.
I'm typing it in right now.
I see you guys talking about milk, and I question milk too, because remember when all the celebrities had the milk mustaches and it was like, got milk? I think that the reason why they push the milk is because of what they put inside of the cow.
Yeah, your store-bought milk is
Passing
crap.
it on to us.
I'm not seeing one for Hillary right off the gate. Yeah, I can't find one for Hillary or Trump, which is weird. You would figure like they would, but for whatever reason they don't. Here, I'll show you the Hulk Hogan.
What about Donald Trump? I could never find a black eye for Donald Trump.
That's what I just said. I can't find one for Trump or Hillary.
Yeah.
But here, like Hogan, for instance, here, I'll show you this one. Like Hogan's is nasty. It's got like this reptilian sort of thing going on. Watch. See?
Wow.
Javid says, I had a black eye from bee sting, rubbed urine on it, swelling went away in an hour.
There's something to that because, you know, you pee on a jellyfish sting. So.
Bee sting. I said bee sting.
I heard you say bee sting, but like, bee sting. Oh. Bee sting.
A bee sting.
Bee sting.
I've heard that with jellyfish too.
Jellyfish.
Like, you get stung by a jellyfish, someone pee on your foot.
Pee on it, and then you get instant relief. Donald Trump is the one giving the black eyes.
Now, it might have an antiseptic quality to it, but that doesn't translate to being healthy to drink.
Yeah.
Antibacterial,
like putting it on your skin is totally
antibacterial, antiseptic doesn't necessarily equal like, yum, drink it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
You may have had a positive result from rubbing it, let's say, on swelling, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should drink it.
Someone said if you pee on your feet, it gets rid of fungus. I feel like I believe that. I'm not going to try it, but
this black eye by Hogan right here.
Wow.
So he showed up to WrestleMania in Las Vegas. He wasn't supposed to be in the main event, but the main event was Bret Hart versus Yokozuna, who was like a sumo wrestler, and the sumo wrestler beats Bret Hart, and then Hogan comes out, walks into the ring, picks up the sumo wrestler, slams him once, does a leg drop, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3, shows off his black eye to the crowd, walks out with the belt.
X logic about the crypto, you can make money off from it right now, but what happens when the power grid goes down? I mean, you can make money off it right now, I'm sure, but what's going to happen in the future with that?
Here's the deal with crypto. I have made some money, but it lost so much value recently that all the money that I made basically went away. So it's like, if you don't get in and out at the right times, you can lose a lot of money. So if you bought in early and a crypto goes up and then you sell, yes, it seems awesome until you buy one that goes down 80% and you're sitting on it. And if you sell it, then that means you lose that money. If you don't sell it, you have to sit there and wait for it to go back up.
Yeah, so you basically have to pressure. It's like a pyramid scheme because you got to pressure other people.
I'm in a position where I bought some and sold some and made money, but then I also bought some like Bitcoin Cash at $700-800, and now it's only worth $200 or less than $200.
I did the same thing with the stock market.
So like if you buy $5,000 worth of a crypto, and then it goes up to $10,000, and you're like, yeah, I'm making. You've made $5,000 and you doubled your money, and then you buy more, but then the market takes a crap. Now suddenly, like your profits are wiped out on your current investment. I made money, but now my current investment on several cryptos is down because the market took a shit. Yeah. And so I'm just sitting on the cryptos that I do own. So I own some, like owning stock, it's a risk that you take that it's either going to go up or down. So if you do own it and you're just sitting on it, then you just have to wait for it to go back up again. And it might take 3 or 4 years for some of these to go back up again.
New people constantly have to be getting into it in order to make it go up.
Yes. So some of these get rich quick schemes, you can get rich quick, and you can also get poor quick too.
The people that are in right at the beginning, like when I first got into the stock market, I could invest in IPOs and I'd get them super cheap, and then I get them for like $9, sell them for $70, but then eventually that all went flat.
Go Within to Get Out says, I met the whole crew at Flattoberfest. I think had $150. I think I had $150 to get in. Thanks for what you do. Let's make this a people's reset. So yeah, this is a guy that, got a ticket to this Flattoberfest, one of these shill fests. And they were charging before this one, even for the Flat Earth International conferences, front row seats were like $250, $300 and shit.
Yeah, and there's one right now.
Passes for $300, $400 and shit, so that you could meet Patty Steer and Mark Sargent.
The one that Dave is having is $133.33.
Oh, how lovely! He has.
Yeah. It's way too much. Like $133.33 too much.
Rose says, you missed my last super chat. And where in Modesto do you buy raw milk? Let me get back to your others. Let me go scroll back and try to find that super chat that I missed.
Do you just buy it through a farmer?
So there's a farm outside of Modesto on Mays Boulevard. And I'll give out the address. I'm going to go pick up any raw milk. And I'll go back and try to find your super chat that I missed. Let me go ahead and So it's Mays Boulevard, which is Highway 132. So Highway 132. Hold on.
Funny, Robert.
All right. So I don't know the exact address offhand, but I do have the address of the gas station that is right next to it. So 6943 Mays Boulevard, Modesto is the Chevron. And just after the Chevron is their driveway, is a big diesel truck trailer, a diesel trailer. And it says raw milk, simply bottled. So that's the farm where I go, is on Mays Boulevard, Highway 132. You're going to find even a picture of it.
It's probably the good bacteria, said Guy.
I actually found some pictures. One sec. Yeah. So here's their Facebook. Oh, 7506 Mays Boulevard. For those of you in California, here it is right here. 7506 Mays Boulevard. That's where I buy my raw milk from.
Does it taste any different?
Yes.
Better?
Most definitely. Hold on, let me share this screen. That way I can give a shout out to the place. I mean, not everyone's going to live near Modesto to be able to buy it, but if Rose is ever passing through there, here. So this is the place where I buy mine. There it is. Here, I'll show you. You can even see the cream and the milk separate.
True X logic. Bacteria is good for your gut.
Okay,
yes,
so
raw milk is good for you.
Here's a jug right here, and I'll show you the difference between this and a regular bottle of milk. Can you see that line right there?
Mm-hmm.
You see it? Right here? That's where the cream and the milk meet right there. So this top is nothing but cream. I don't know if you guys can see this line, but that's the milk down below and the cream is on top. So basically, if you open up a fresh jug and you have the cream all on top and you pour the cream out, it'll come out first. So coffee creamers are all trying to basically replicate that layer of cream in there. Check this out, and I'll show you. You can't have this in store-bought milk. See? That doesn't happen with store-bought milk. So the difference is it's way creamy. So on top, if I don't mix it up, is a thick layer of cream, and you get a good bit of it in each jug. If I want it to be, the milk to be all creamy, I can mix it all up, and then the milk and cream will be all mixed together. And then it's like extra creamy milk. Then I can let it sit, and if you let it sit overnight, the cream will rise back to the top again. So that's the difference, is store-bought milk is at the grocery store that's pasteurized is not going to have that layer of cream on top, and it is not going to be as fresh and as tasty. Nowhere near as good. And this has the healthy bacteria in it. So once you start drinking it, you'll get addicted to drinking this healthy bacteria. And then when you taste regular store-bought pasteurized milk, it's like flat. It's like it's dead milk.
Yeah, I think I want to try that. I don't really drink milk at all anymore, but I might have to go to a local farmer and get some of that.
Okay, and before I get
you
to
had
Jana's,
a couple of super chats.
before I get to Jana's, I know I think I missed. Rose said I missed one. Let's try and go back real quick, and then I'll read Jana's. One said, "Why raw milk?" It's because when they pasteurize it, they kill all the healthy bacteria. So when you drink it raw, you're getting it the way it was supposed to be. Javid says, Rose 777 Bellman, realmilk.com. I don't know what the Rose 777 thing is all about.
She was the one asking about the milk, I think.
Oh. Where's the super chat that I missed? I thought I missed one from Rose.
I didn't see it either.
Okay, Javid said I had a black eye from. Oh yeah, we saw that one.
I saw that one.
No, I think Rose said I missed one.
She did, but I didn't see it either.
I'm trying to go back and see if I missed it. Unless you can find it. But all right, let me read this one from Jonna before I forget that one. She says, here's to a gallon of your favorite raw milk. Oh, thank you very much. So yeah, in stores like Sprouts, they sell this for like $15 a gallon. So basically like triple the cost of gas.
I see one from Andrew Jordan. I don't think you read. Way up there. It says, Jake, I bet your mom could tell if he's handsome. Okay, Jake. You read that one.
Oh, there's one by Javid. It says raw milk tastes better because the cream, it's more like a shake. Realmilk.com, guys. The lactose intolerant peeps do fine on raw milk. Yeah, I dig it.
I'm going to try it.
Once I started drinking it, I got hooked on it. Now I can't drink the regular store-bought stuff. I have to like pick up the raw milk. So when I go through Modesto, I can get it for $6 a gallon if I go to Modesto. But if I buy it at a health food store or whatever, it's $15 a gallon. I'm looking for.
I do not see it.
No?
I looked all the way back. Yeah.
She says I missed her last super chat.
Maybe it was on a previous video. Oh wait, if the Japanese weren't nuked, what killed so many? We're not saying that nothing happened with the Japanese. I mean, we said that they will sacrifice their own people in these wars.
I think we can carpet bomb some areas and then just say that we did it with one big bomb. I don't think that, I think if you look into nukes, there's a lot of propaganda around nukes and world-ending bombs.
And we never know how many people really, truly died. We only know what they tell us.
So, carpet bomb a country with regular bombs, and then tell everybody you did it with one giant bomb, even. And then when you go back and look at the nuke testing footage, it's Hollywood propaganda crap too, as well. With cheap Hollywood special effects.
Yep.
Is that how far back?
So that was the one. It was like quite a ways back.
What's the time on it? Does it say a time?
Yep, 9:34 p.m.
9:34.
Yep. Mine says 9:34 p.m.
That's so weird.
So maybe 6.
Oh, 6. Okay. I at least want to pull it up on screen. Dang, it's been way back there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me just pull that up real quick for her so that she gets her quick shout out for that. I'm almost there. There we go. No, that's Javid's black eye comment. God.
Look, do you see there's a Rob Skiba in here?
Oh, someone calling themselves Skiva? Yeah.
Yeah.
Haha, so funny. What time does it say? I cannot.
It was 9:34 my time. So.
Jeez. Yeah, okay. Holy cow. If the Japanese, okay. Yeah, see, we can even look more into that too, and do more of a breakdown into that part of the operation as well, because there's a ton of people not a ton, but there's plenty of people who broke down nukes not being what we're told, and so we can definitely do maybe even a stream or dedicate part of a stream to this in the future. Bring you some more information on that. Oh, and thank you for the donation, Rose. I had to go back and find it. That way you get your proper shout out. And anyone else that I missed? Or did I catch them all this time?
I think you caught them all. I didn't see any others that you didn't.
All right.
If people are going to donate, then of course they're going to get a shout out and their comments are going to get read. It's not obsessing over super chats. We don't want to leave people out.
Yeah, my thing is, if somebody's going to spend their money and for a super chat, I'm going to take that extra time to find it and read it, because they're spending money, and sometimes if somebody sends a super chat and I miss it, then it makes me feel bad, like they took the time and effort to send super chat and I didn't catch it. So I do my best to make sure to catch it. And with this StreamYard, we can put people's comments up on the screen, whether you send a super chat or not. So even sometimes if we find a comment that we like that's not even attached to a super chat, I can pull it up on the screen.
Yeah.
All right, so if you guys are having fun today, you enjoyed the stream, can you do us a favor and smash the thumbs up before we get on out of here? It would definitely help us out. You guys smash the thumbs up, give us a little love. And I guess that was pretty much all we had for you today. If there's anything left that you wanted to discuss, Shay, before we wrap this up? No?
No, I think that's it.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this information. If you missed any of it, go back and catch the beginning of the stream. Shay drops a lot of information regarding Pearl Harbor. So go back and check that out if you missed any of it. And make sure to subscribe to her channel if you want to watch more of her content over at Shaylin. And until next time, this is Jake the Asshole, or Flat Earth Asshole, whichever you prefer, and Shaylin, and we are going to sign off.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
y'all. Have a wonderful night, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.